years since we've physically seen each other.
Both times when you met with Ms. Heard in August of this year, did you meet with her at her house?
Yes.
Did Ms. Heard mention any of the allegations that Mr. Depp is making against her in relation to this case when you met with her?
Only to say to talk to the attorneys about it.
1 second.
When you say only to say to talk to the attorneys about it, what specifically did Ms. Heard tell you?
Like she said, would you be willing to sit down and talk to my attorneys about everything that you witnessed?
Hey guys, how are you?
And then afterwards,
Watching the end of today's testimony.
after I kind of talked about it all, it felt really intense to me and I felt incredibly guilty.
Was it during one of these two times that you met with Ms. Heard in August of this year that Ms. Heard told you for the first time that Mr. Depp had allegedly raped her with a bottle in Australia?
Yeah, she did
Hey,
talk
Gianna.
about the bottle then, yeah.
Was it the first meeting that you had with Ms. Heard in August of this year that she mentioned that?
No, it was after, like, I had come to see her and had a wine night and catch up, and then after I had talked to the attorneys, after we had a good cry, we were talking more about what had happened, and she was saying how she didn't even tell me everything, and yeah, that's when it came out.
And just to confirm, Ms. Sexton, Ms. Heard told you about the bottle incident in Australia where she claims Mr. Depp penetrated her with it before your deposition, your first deposition in the case in August of 2019?
Yes, it was after I had talked to the attorneys.
After you had spoken to the attorneys informally, correct, at her house?
Yeah.
Hey Barbara.
But it was before you were formally deposed in this case,
Yeah, there's people that think she's reading something.
August 30th, 2019.
Yes.
And just to confirm and make the record really clear,
That's why I hate these depositions. Bring them in live.
had told you that
Hey, Rachel.
Mr. Depp had allegedly penetrated her
Hey, Phil,
with a
how are you?
bottle in Australia, correct?
Yeah, she had told me about the assault with the bottle, being hit with the bottle and the broken glass and everything. And then she had told me about all that many times before. And then this time she started crying and sobbing and started telling me about the assault, the penetrative assault.
And when Ms. Heard told you about this alleged rape that occurred, did she know that you were going to be deposed by her attorney?
No, because they were all in the other room. And they didn't even tell me that they were like, we may have you for a deposition.
All right, tell me, everyone, where you're watching from and what you're up to today. Let's get some good news in the chat.
The States. And they said we may or may not.
Angie's in Orlando.
And it was a couple days later that they then sent me the contact and said, we are going to subpoena you.
Since you've known Ms. Heard, can you tell me how many times you spent maybe a significant amount of time with Mr. Depp?
I would say probably around like 10 or 20 times.
And of those 10 or 20 times that you saw Mr. Depp and spent maybe...
Madison mentioned that the acting coach said it's difficult for Amber to fake cry and produce tears when she's acting. But the acting coach also said that the type of tears Amber had in real life were different. But yeah, this was obviously 2.5 years ago, this deposition.
Have a conversation. He was pouring a glass of whiskey or rolling a joint.
Astoria.
Or having wine. It always seemed to me that
Love a good Greek diner in Astoria.
not a social...
Ottawa, East Haven, Connecticut, London, UK.
And he would
Michigan.
have a drink or smoke in order to...
Donna
go
Murray
talk
from
to people,
Boston, Mass.
is what
Kid.
it felt like.
Rebecca in
so
Maine.
most of the time I saw him, it was that.
Deb in Switzerland,
Do you
as
agree
always.
with me, though, Ms. Sexton,
Chrissy's
that
in Atlanta.
someone getting a drink is different than someone appearing drunk?
What part of Boston, Mass. are you from there,
For
Donna
example,
Murray?
it was his first drink of the day. So my question is a little bit more specific. Of the 10 or 20 times that you saw Mr. Depp, how many times did he appear inebriated? Not, holding a glass of whiskey or smoking a joint, but how many times did he appear inebriated to you?
I would say at least half, if not more.
How would you describe Mr. Depp's personality when he was or appeared sober versus when he appeared inebriated?
He was very quiet when he was sober, and before he would start drinking, he was very quiet. Almost a whisper, mumble most of the time. And then he would get very loud when he was inebriated, and he would go to like boisterous first and telling like cool stories and stuff, that kind of happy drunk, and then it would move into the
Ville's in
loud,
Louisville.
angry drunk.
Be sitting Boulder.
When you say loud and angry drunk, did you
Wisconsin,
witness
Ohio,
Mr. Depp
Minnesota.
be angry when he was drunk?
A couple of times, yeah.
When was the first time you witnessed Mr. Depp appear to be angry and inebriated?
I couldn't tell you the first time per se. I have images in my head. I remember him like yelling and screaming, and the bodyguard coming over and being like, "Hey boss, let's take this to another room."
Can you tell me as much as you can remember of that incident?
I remember being in the kitchen of that house. And
I downloaded a new super chat button that should pop up right above my head if we get any super chats. I don't know if it's going to work here or not.
and we were going to, I think we were going to work on something that day. It was later in the evening.
Yes, we're already
where it was really dark in there.
demonetized.
Like I
You
said,
can
sometimes
see.
I drew all the curtains.
Already demonetized.
In my memory, it's very dark. And he was yelling, and that older guy came and like scooped his arm around him and was like, "All right, boss, let's take this to another place," because he was inebriated. I could tell from the way he was talking, and he was just kind of yelling. And I don't recall what was happening. It all kind of happened very quickly. I don't recall what he was yelling about, or if it was even at anybody. He was just kind of down there and drunk, and he scooped him up.
You anticipated my next questions, which were who was he yelling at and what was he yelling about. So you don't recall, is that correct?
No, I don't.
And you said the other instance that you remember of Mr. Depp appearing inebriated and being angry was at one of his penthouses in downtown LA, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
What were the circumstances that you remember about that incident?
I remember one time he was mad that people were in the house because I had just gotten there. I don't even remember. There might have been like 2 people there or something. I don't remember. But yeah, he was storming up those stairs to his office bedroom area. And then Amber and I went to the other penthouse to work.
And in either incident, both at Sweetser and at the penthouse, when you saw Mr. Depp and he appeared inebriated and was angry and yelling, did you see him hit Ms. Heard at any point?
No, I did not see him hit her.
Did you see him kick Ms. Heard?
I did not see him kick her.
Did you see him throw something at Ms. Heard?
I saw him coming at her, and that's when the bodyguard stepped in, like coming towards her. But I did not, like, it, so throwing himself at, like, but I was not witness to him throwing objects at her.
When you say he was coming at her, are you describing the incident at Sweetser or at the penthouse?
Sweetser, he came in through that hallway, and we were sitting at, it was kind of like an island there, like, right in front of the fridge, and I was in front of the fridge, and he came in from there, was like coming at her, and then the bodyguard, like, came in and scooped him up.
This is the incident. You don't remember what Mr. Depp was yelling about or
Yeah.
what?
Yes.
But it appeared to you that Mr. Depp was coming at Ms. Heard.
Yeah.
Correct?
She was shaking and upset. It felt like something that had been going on for a while.
This deposition is going to end
All the time
shortly.
that you've known Ms. Heard and Mr. Depp,
Then we'll do a recap.
did you ever see Mr. Depp be violent towards Ms. Heard?
I never saw him hit her.
All right.
I heard him use terminology, as I said before, and as I said, come at her, but I never saw him hit her. If I had, I would have called the cops, to be honest.
You never saw Mr. Depp throw anything at her, any objects at her, correct?
No, the only thing I saw was the aftermath. Like, I would see things broken afterwards. And like I said, in Hicksville, I heard the yelling and then saw the breaking and saw him apologizing for it. But I, with my own 2 eyes, did not see him physically break the stuff or throw the stuff.
When Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard went to Australia, did she tell you that she threw a bottle of vodka at him and that's what severed his finger?
No, she had told me that he had broken the bottle and cut himself with the bottle that he had broken.
Maybe.
Objection, Your Honor. When she told you that he had cut himself with the bottle he had broken, did she say that he had taken the bottle and cut off his finger, or that it was an accident and that his finger was severed from the broken bottle? Do you understand the distinction?
Yeah, she didn't say that he... She didn't indicate that he cut off, like, went purposely to cut it. What it seemed to me is that he had broken the bottle against something and then he would...
Yeah, the audio is horrible here. Sorry, not on our end. Cassie said off topic, but how was your stand-up show yesterday? Show was awesome, 150 people. They had really good food, had a nice cold beer, good audience. I'll show you a clip after this testimony ends.
Something to you in a conversation with him later about his ability to pass insurance tests.
I remember a specific time when Amber still lived at Orange, and Amber was out with her girlfriends, and I had come over too early for the party, so it was just Johnny and I sitting there having some whiskey. And
Kate says there's a problem with my super chat button. Is anyone else having this problem? Let me look into it.
that it was... I said something about... He said he had to get up early to do a test, and I was like, oh, don't you have any sort of, like, concern about that? And he's like, it's easy to fake insurance tests. That's why we do what we do. I was talking to him because another client of mine had to do an insurance test, and he was like, oh, you can fake a piss test, you can do this. And he just kind of went over a few different ways that it's easy to fake insurance tests.
Hey, Erica.
And made a joke of it.
Is that it?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the day today, so have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Again, do not discuss the case with anybody and don't do any outside research, okay? Have a good evening.
All right, there it is. Now, some would call this a very boring day. We're going to go into some of the recaps of what's being said out there, what social media is saying, who they like, who they didn't. We're going to get into all of that. Oh, so Kate said the super chat's her issue. So super chat should be
Do you
working
have any
on our
remote
end.
witnesses tomorrow that you need access for?
Everyone wish Elizabeth Stencil a
TV
happy
WebEx.
birthday. Happy birthday to Elizabeth. 26 years young. Everybody wish Elizabeth in the chat a happy birthday. She's one of the family. Happy birthday, Elizabeth. A metaphorical birthday lap dance to you. Okay. So there it is, folks. There it is. Let's just jump over to our friend, the body language expert, and see if he's got any information on, let's see what his wrap-up says with regards to how this testimony is going. Let's find the...
For Johnny's odds of winning this case, and that's why I lower my expectations to 75% of him winning this case. My body language buddies, was a pleasure to share this space with you. Thank you for all your super chats, super stickers, all your likes, and being almost 15,000 body language buddies. 11,000 right now. This is amazing. I'm really humble. There's so many.
So he lowered his prediction for Johnny Depp winning down to 75%. He had it higher than that, down to 75%. Let's see what he thinks of some of the different witness testimony here. Let's go here to the sister. This was kind of a big deal. As we know, if you didn't see it, during her cross-examination, of Amber Heard's sister, we have the Johnny Depp's team basically, asking a line of questioning to show that she's biased. Essentially saying, questions like, you want to protect your sister? Yes, of course. You want your sister? You love your sister? Yes, of course. Like those types of questions. Let's just do a rewind there, and we'll see what has to be said there.
Absolutely true.
We have some sort of music on.
Sent to Mr. Depp. Ms. Enriquez, if I could just direct your attention, we go to the third page.
Where's this music coming from? Oh, it's from the. Hold on a second. Turn that off. All right, here we go. We're back.
Do I have control of this or no?
No, you do not. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
we'll put
This
it
is
up.
Amber Heard's sister.
And we can go back to the first page if you'd like, or we can take a look at the unredacted version if we need to. But do you recognize these as text messages that you sent to Mr. Depp on October 2nd, 2015?
Yeah, vaguely. I mean, they're clearly my text messages, but yeah, I recognize them, I think.
Okay. And if we can go to the third page, please, Tom. And you'll see the second blue box from the bottom there. You texted Mr. Depp and you said, I love both of you so much and would fucking stay out of it if I thought this shit were past the point of no return. But that's not where you guys are right now. Did I read that right?
Oh, but that's not where you guys are at.
Yes. So you didn't think they were past the point of no return?
Lolo said, will you teach us about who gets to sit in on this trial? Well, there's just a select number of seats, so I feel like they just have to wait in line. I could be wrong. My guess is that it's first come, first serve for audience in the morning.
You wanted Ms. Heard to stay with Mr. Depp even after you allegedly saw him hit her, right?
That's really oversimplifying something that's far from simple. Again, Amber was very much in love. So was Johnny. She's telling me that she wants something. Whether or not I agreed to it or not, whether or not I was okay with what was happening, it wasn't my place. If my sister said that she still wanted to be with Johnny, and if I could help with that in any way, I was going to support her. I was going to be there for her to support that.
Yeah, you didn't want to contradict your sister, right?
Pardon?
You didn't want to contradict your sister.
I don't know if I'd characterize it that way. I was trying to support my sister the best that I could or knew how or thought she wanted.
And you say you wanted to protect her, though, right?
At that point?
I'm analyzing the body language of the body language guy analyzing her body language.
You went to Coachella with your sister for her 30th birthday in 2016, right?
Yes.
And you testified that you were aware, I believe, that she and Mr. Depp had fought the night before? You could turn your microphone on, Ms. Bretterhoff.
Never mind, I withdraw that objection.
Okay, withdrawn. All right. You can answer the question, ma'am.
Yes, I was aware that they had argued the night before.
You didn't see any bruises on Ms. Heard at Coachella that year, though, right?
Yeah, she was wearing a lot of makeup.
You didn't see any marks on her?
Not that I can recall.
Didn't notice any swelling, right?
To the best of my recollection, I don't.
And your sister didn't have a working...
Erica's analyzing me, analyzing the body language guy, analyzing Amber Heard's sister.
And you wanted Mr. Depp to know that Ms. Heard's phone wasn't working, right?
I believe I reached out to him for her, yeah.
And
Kate says 100 people are allowed in the courtroom. Lineup starts 8 p.m. the night before. How wild.
I believe so at one point, yes.
you
Seems
didn't
like a
want him to
lot
think
less
that
than
he was
100.
ignoring her.
I'm sorry?
You didn't want him to think that he was ignoring her, right?
Sure.
And you wanted them to reconcile, didn't you?
Amber really wanted him there. Despite the fact that they had had a fight the night before, it was very complicated. It was very nuanced. You know, they fought, they got back together. They fought, they loved each other. They hated each other, they loved each other. I just remember her wanting Johnny to come to Coachella at some point. I wasn't trying to reconcile them. I was just trying to...
A lot of free press for Coachella during this trial.
And you did that even though you were concerned about marks that you say you'd seen on her since at least 2013 and during the course of their relationship, right?
Again, that's really oversimplifying.
If anyone in the chat has any content from today you want me to analyze, just send me a DM or text me or whatever.
We would see Johnny on the other end of this. Because, again, when he was sober, things were wonderful. When he wasn't sober, they were terrible, sure, but we all thought that he was just going to get better. We all wanted to just see the other side of that. So, yes, sure, if you look at it simply, but it's not simple at all. I don't know how else to answer it.
And this was after you allegedly saw him hit her, right?
Yes.
And you knew that they had just had another fight, right?
Yes.
You know who Jennifer Howell is, right, Ms. Enriquez?
I do.
She's the founder of the Art of Elysium nonprofit.
She is.
And you worked there for a time, didn't you?
I did.
Around May 2015, you actually moved in with Ms. Howell, right?
May 2015?
15?
Yes.
And you moved out of the penthouses because at that point you and your sister were fighting, right?
It was around the time that, he had accused me of leaking stories, and that was the impetus of me leaving.
And you testified earlier, I think, that he had asked you to sign an NDA, right?
At some point.
And that was around the same time that he was concerned you were leaking stories about their wedding to the media?
I believe so.
You and Ms. Howell were close?
We were.
Close enough that you lived with her for around a year?
I don't recall if it was that long.
And you confided in Ms. Howell, right?
About some things, yes. She was my friend.
You called her your chosen sister? Ms. Enriquez, you claim to have seen signs of injuries on your sister during the course of her relationship with Mr. Depp, right?
Yes.
But you never witnessed any incidents that resulted in visible injuries to your sister, right?
Other than the staircase incident? I witnessed that incident. What are you asking me exactly?
You never witnessed any incidents that resulted in signs of
Yeah, Gianna, there's more witnesses tomorrow, I believe. Today just ended the last deposition.
Incident? I did witness that.
No, at no other time when you...
No, that was the only time that I saw him.
And you didn't see what caused any of the injuries you claim to have seen during the course of their relationship, right? Other than the staircase incident.
Yeah, the staircase incident is the only one that I saw.
But you have seen your sister land a blow on Mr. Depp, right?
That was the time, yes, after he hit me.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, redirect.
I have no redirect.
All right, is this witness subject to recall?
No, she may be excused.
Is subject to recall?
All right, so that's the end of the sister. Let's see what body language guy has to say about her.
Or you can stay in the courtroom. It's up to you, okay? Thank you. All right.
Our next witness, Your Honor, is another deposition designation.
Okay.
It's going to be,
How long is it?
this particular one is about 45 minutes.
Okay. All right, why don't we go ahead and, it's early, but why don't we go ahead and take our afternoon recess, though? That way we can get everything ready for you. So we'll just take our 15-minute break now, and then we'll come back and have that deposition, okay? So we'll see you in 15 minutes. Don't do any outside research, and don't talk to anybody.
The only winner here is the judge. She's doing a great job, isn't she? So is the body language guy... Oh, I have a fly in my face. What is this?
So if that's 45 minutes, then what do you have another...
Yes, then we have another one.
It's another
We have a
deposition.
Well, my focus was just sitting there trying to figure out what he was upset about and get him out of the house.
So how long were you at Orange with Mr. Depp and Amber before he left to go to the Keith Richards?
A few hours. I couldn't say.
The answer was instant. It was she didn't have to think or assess the situation or assess the answer at all. It was less than half a second. I could guess, make a good guess at that. So that is important to notice. That was absolutely rehearsed. But let's jump to the part that she describes that aggression. That is the most important and the most damaging.
Just to answer the question here from Meow Ba. No, Johnny Depp's career is gone in the wind. He should have not said he would slap Amber Heard in text. He's guilty. Well, we know his career's not gone in the wind. He has a movie coming out this year, and he's got plenty of people that want him in films. His time maybe doing gigantic corporate blockbusters might be over, but I think there's for sure enough public sentiment that supports him, you know, in plenty of films that could use the publicity that they would get from Johnny Depp.
In part for Johnny. I'm gonna try to find that one.
Maybe. I did.
Happened next then on your ride over there?
So Amber and Johnny were sitting in the back. I was in the front with Sterling, the driver. There.
It's not it.
I twitched, or, you know, if he lost her somehow, she was just going to go out the window.
Don't say what Amber said, just go ahead and continue.
Out the dog in the microwave.
On Amber, any injuries or signs of markings, anything like that?
Or, I don't know, on her.
All right, we're letting our buddy, the body language guy, skip through here, and we're going to see what he has to say about her testimony. Although I'm assuming he's going to say she's pretty credible.
All right, I'm going to take you to June 2013, Hicksville. Were you in attendance at that event?
Air each dreams for everyone else. And up after what appeared to be just a night of friends hanging out, broken
going to London.
So that's what we did. We loaded up, we went on a plane that he chartered, and we got an assistant.
I'm still looking for the part that she mentions the aggression.
Between the objection,
Okay,
next
so
question.
That, and when I touched down,
Oh, we got a super chat from Vil in Kentucky. Thank you so much. Oh, look at that. It did work. Vil donated $20 through super chat. My little dinosaur I set up worked. Thank you so much, Vil. I really appreciate it.
you observed what happened
Sure.
when you were there.
These chats are always demonetized when it's Johnny Depp. For whatever reason, they are not letting us receive ad money for these live streams, so I appreciate the super chat.
saying things, it was, you know, that she doesn't need to work, and he doesn't understand why she continues to take jobs. She must be doing it to insult him or to hurt him, or she's only taking these jobs because she wants to meet people. I don't know. The entire time that we were talking, his sister and his, assistants at one point, everyone was trying to get him out of the house because he was already very late for this. But eventually they did get him to leave the house. And yeah, I saw the award show later at some point.
And what did you observe when you watched the award show?
Unfortunately, an extension of what I had seen at the house. He was still very drunk, actually a little bit more drunk than when I saw him at the house.
And what was he doing that caused you to believe he was very drunk?
Well, he was drinking the entire time that we were talking. And, you know, in general, at this point, I had understood what Johnny looks like when he's drunk. He's stammering. His speech was hard to understand. He was slurring. He was super unsteady on his feet.
I'm gonna fast forward.
And at this time,
Yeah, Kate's right. Johnny Depp said he wouldn't do another Pirates movie even for $300 million. But again, of course, they could fire whoever it was that dropped him and bring someone else in. He could do another Pirates movie, even if he did one in 15 or 20 years. In 20 years, Johnny Depp would still be a fascinating Jack Sparrow.
what?
Oh,
Just
sorry.
briefly what you just explained.
I woke up to her saying, "Can you believe he's cheating on me? Your fucking brother's cheating on me." I got up. I told her to stay right there.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
It's not offered to prove the truth of the matter
That's
asserted.
overruled for that statement. Go ahead.
Please continue.
I instructed her to stay in my apartment while I go and talk to Johnny. So I leave PH4. I leave her in PH4.
And let me just stop. Are you sober, drunk? Have you been drinking?
Oh, rare occasions where I was sober. I was in the middle of the night. I was asleep.
Rare occasions
Sorry, I'm
that
not sure
I
I
was
understood your
sober.
question. So you were sober?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Please continue.
So she was
So I
sober.
go to PH5 where Johnny, Debbie, and Travis were all standing in the kitchen of PH5. I went down there to talk to him, and again, I can tell he's clearly drunk, and he has a bottle of alcohol of some sort in front of him as well. And again, he's talking to me about how Amber found these text messages between him and a woman called Rochelle. And then he started saying that this woman was meaningless. It wasn't anything special. She's nothing special. But then he immediately shifted to, well, Amber pushed me. Amber made me do it. Of course I'm cheating on her, whatever. And it suddenly became about Amber making him do it.
Okay. Let me pause here because she said push me or push or shove. Let me backtrack 20 seconds.
He started saying that this woman was meaningless. It wasn't anything special. She's nothing special.
Thank you, Mary.
He immediately shifted to, well, Amber pushed me. Amber made me do it. Of course I'm cheating on her, whatever. And it suddenly became about Amber making him do it. At some point, then Amber is on the mezzanine level of PH 5. So she is, it's kind of hard to explain. So the kitchen's down here and the mezzanine's up here. So she's there. It's her little office nook, and she starts shouting at him.
Thank you, Roxette, for the $2 super chat. Really appreciate it.
He's calling her a fucking whore, fucking cunt, used up trash bag, whatever. They were saying horrible things to one another. She was calling him old and fat. It was a fight. They were saying really nasty things to one another. I leave them in the kitchen to go up the stairs. They were saying horrible things to one another.
I'm gonna backtrack 20 seconds just to watch because I've spotted that her eyes are not working like are shooting downwards sometimes, and just 20 seconds rewind to check
now I'm no expert, and I'm sure the body language guy talks about this, but like the baseline for knowing if someone's lying or not, you have to know what their tics are. Like you can't just like if you're playing poker with someone, you can't just assume that they're lying to you because they do a certain thing. You'd have to base that off of other versions of them in truthful moments. So you need to find a common denominator there.
He's calling her a fucking whore, fucking cunt, used up trash bag, whatever. They were saying horrible things to one another. She was calling him old and fat.
Okay, notice when she says trash bag, for example, she does a long blink. This is a way to spot a long blink. You should say that it's a combination of lowering your gaze and closing your eyes for a split second.
He's calling her a fucking whore, fucking cunt, used up trash bag, whatever.
Right there.
They were saying horrible things to one another. She was calling him old and fat. It was a fight. They were saying really nasty things to one another. I leave them in the kitchen to go up the stairs. I was trying to calm Amber down, hopefully get her back into my apartment. And Debbie had come up with me.
And Debbie, who's Debbie?
Debbie was his.
Here is it you and Debbie that are with
By the way,
Amber?
we don't have many people saying that they saw Johnny Depp hit her. We have essentially a lot of people that have heard her story. When it comes to, and I'm looking at this in the comment section, people that are saying, and by the way, we have 1,000 people in the chat. Hello, I'm Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of the Dave Neal Show. We're covering sort of the off-trial coverage, right? So I decided to go live once the trial's over for the day so we can review what we heard, talk about it, this and that. I've got a bunch of other videos. But look, my personal leaning is on the side that Johnny Depp wasn't the monster that Amber claims him to be. That doesn't mean things didn't happen, that they were in fights, that there was so much toxic behavior. All of that could be true. With that said, Vild, I just got a new subscriber right there. Appreciate you. Whenever I got this little jumpy dinosaur, I appreciate that. But anyway, my point being is that it's like watching a football game and it's the third quarter. So for anyone who's like, no, it's definitely Johnny's definitely innocent or Amber's definitely innocent, it's like there's so much more nuance to a case like this. Johnny Depp may win, but it's a tough case to win. In the end, I think enough people have switched sides to believing Johnny Depp that he already will feel like he's won, even if the court doesn't agree with him, because that's a lot for him to prove, in this lawsuit. Anyway, so thanks to all the new subscribers and super chat people out there. I really appreciate you. These videos are all getting demonetized, so we're doing this just with super chat funds. So thank you so much for that. Let's just continue and see what the body language guy thinks about Amber's sister's testimony, which I think is pretty credible.
Yes, Debbie, Amber, and I are all in the little mezzanine area. And as I mentioned, the mezzanine overlooks the kitchen and the living room. But I'm standing up there talking, or I'm standing up there, I'm at the top of the stairs with my back to the stairs. And that's when Johnny runs up the stairs. And again, I'm facing Amber. He comes up.
Who needs a jury when you've got Dave Neal, power trial recapper?
Just somewhere over here. He strikes me in the back. I hear Amber shout, "Don't hit my fucking sister."
Okay, let's backtrack because this is really, really important. I think that this is the most important part of her testimony.
Thank you, Silver.
Backtrack 20 seconds.
I'm standing up there. I'm at the top of the stairs with my
Adolfo
back to the
subscribed.
stairs. And that's when Johnny runs up the stairs. And
thank you, Adolfo.
Again, I'm facing Amber. He comes up behind me, strikes me in the back.
Well, that strikes me in the back. Well, let's continue. Let's continue this time.
Kind of just somewhere over here. He strikes me in the back. I hear Amber shout, "Don't hit my fucking sister." She smacks him, lands one, and then he grabs. At that point, that's when Travis runs up.
Okay, wait. This is the most the critical part.
The stairs after Amber landed one, but by that time Johnny had already grabbed Amber by the hair with one hand and was whacking her repeatedly in the face with the other as I was standing there. Travis pulls them apart. I get Amber into mine. I close the doors behind me and lock them.
Okay, notice so many things happening that are not seen. We had 2 minutes left. That are not seen on her, but I see Elaine's posture, like her body language, like she's tense, really, really tense. Okay, trying to watching the witness. I don't remember her name. Whitney, watching Whitney, and Elaine is really tense, like expecting her to say things right. And at the same time, you see that Johnny is really like frustrated, like mad at all this nonsense, and he's taking his glasses off. Notice that I'm gonna go back a few 20
Travis
seconds
runs up
again.
the stairs after Amber landed one, but by that time Johnny had already.
Denise with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Denise. Much appreciated. Good to see you over here, Denise.
As I was.
Okay, notice Johnny's reaction. Notice Johnny's reaction. We have 1 minute, but we can spot Johnny's reaction now. 20
Don't hit
seconds.
my fucking sister. She smacks him, lands one.
Watch Johnny.
And then he grabs. At that point, that's when Travis runs up the stairs after Amber landed one, but by that time Johnny had already. Grabbed Amber by the hair with one hand and was whacking her repeatedly in the face with the other as I was standing there. Travis pulls them apart. I get Amber into mine. I close the doors behind me and lock them.
And watch Elaine, how she nods. Watch Elaine nodding, like, yes.
Her repeatedly in the face with the other as I was standing there.
Hey, Kate.
Travis pulls them apart. I get Amber into mine. I close the doors behind me and lock them. I then hear Johnny's voice shouting.
Okay, we're about to begin.
Okay, sorry.
I hear Johnny's voice shouting, I fucking hate you. I hate you both. You fucking cunts. You fucking
Okay,
whores.
two more minutes.
And I hear crashing.
I want to read what he's like, wait, what? It's like, are you serious? Yes. Oh my God! This is impressive.
B Bean was asking, why was a little dinosaur hopping above Dave Neal's head? I installed a widget, so whenever someone subscribes or sends me a super chat donation, the little dinosaur goes off. Very fascinating technology I have here. And by the way, I mean, I said the real winner is the judge here, but let me pull up this. The real winner in this case is Camille Vasquez. Johnny Depp's lawyer is getting viral attention. And my thought here with, we haven't seen too much of her today with his lawyer, 37 years young. My thought, and let me know if you disagree, is that she should be the star of the movie and Anna Kendrick should play her. Anna Kendrick, as we know, from Pitch Perfect and this is a bunch of different movies, of course. Anna Kendrick right there, I think would make a great Camille Vasquez. kind of character out there. But let me know if you know anyway. Or how about Camila Cabello? Am I pronouncing that right? Anyway, let's go back to analyzing.
All the trial, this is absolute body language gold, because it's not only you were right. I needed to use this feed. Has the 2 cameras because it's so important, so critical, the reaction of both the posture of Elaine, Amber's attorney, that is tense, and when Whitney is talking about this smack in the face, it's like Elaine is yes, she's nodding like exactly as we rehearsed that, and Joni raises her cannot, so has this face that I cannot believe what I'm listening to. We have to play this again. Let's backtrack 10 seconds until Johnny has his head down. Elaine is okay. We're about to begin.
Great comment section happening right now. V said she reminds me of Dana Scott from Suits. You know, did you guys know that? Let's go Dana Scott Suits. You know, I worked on the pilot for Suits here, and that's a great thought. Dana Scott star Abigail Spencer from Suits. Yeah, she would make a great Anna Vasquez character. Maybe I hate to say that she's might be a little too old. I mean, Anna Vasquez, or I'm sorry, I said Anna Vasquez. Anna Kendrick, probably the right age, but Camille Vasquez, 37 years young. Not that age matters, but you know, it takes a long time to get your degree and work through the ranks of, you know, becoming a lawyer. And for her, this could be the biggest case she's ever a part of. Diehard Camille Vasquez fan out there. So someone in the comment section said they give Camille a 4 out of 10 stars, but I think most people will understand she's done a really good job of trying to get under, I would say sort of trying to get under Amber's skin without coming off super demeaning. It's kind of like you're in a roast battle where you want to dig and try to get the other person to mess up. Well, Vinny, everyone is entitled and has a right in our country's constitution to representation in the court. And we are going to let the system play out to decide if they believe that he has received defamation or that he is an abuser. But I think, Vinny, it would be premature for us to decide that, although you're entitled to your opinion.
Our next witness, Your Honor, is Elizabeth Mars.
So now they're going to go...
Mars, M-A-R-S?
M-A-R-Z.
M-A-R-Z, thank you.
All right, so we're going back to the depositions here. So this is going to be interesting because I wonder if it's harder for the body language guy to look through a deposition where they're jumping along and it's edited to see what they think about her. Of course, as we're about to listen to, we have a California vocal fry happening, which again, everyone's got a different vocal technique here, but she's a very interesting voice. This next deposition.
Please state your full name.
And by the way, I just want to say, Vinny says, and again, I appreciate your comments. Vinny said the smear campaign in the media for Amber is unreal. People need to wake up. Can you elaborate what you're saying? Are you saying that the media is pro-Amber Heard or anti-Amber Heard? Because I'm not sure what you're trying to say. My personal belief is that the media is pro-Amber Heard, and that's why there's a big online movement that's pro-Johnny Depp, because they feel like he's not getting a fair shake. That's my thought, but please elaborate. I'd love to know. All right, here's our next deposition here from earlier today.
Record. Elizabeth Ray Mars. Between the time that you lived in New York, so let's say 2007, 2008 through...
By the way, Patricia says Selena Gomez would play a good Camille Vasquez. Okay, Selena Gomez as Camille Vasquez.
2015, 16. Mm-hmm. How many times would you estimate that you saw Ms. Heard?
I don't remember.
More than 4 times?
No.
In 2015 and 16, do you recall how close you and Ms. Pennington were as friends?
Yeah, we were pretty close. Pretty close.
In your previous testimony, I'll represent to you, Ms.
Bonjour, Sutamis, ça va bien?
And at least in July of 2016, you would communicate with Ms. Pennington weekly.
I don't remember. Maybe at that time, perhaps we were communicating. Like I said, there were moments where we were communicating weekly or daily.
Would you agree with me that you would remember something as significant as one of your girlfriends telling you, somebody you've known since Texas, when you were young girls, you would remember if Ms. Heard told you that her husband or fiance or boyfriend was beating her? You remember that, correct?
All right, so we're going to jump back to this. We're going to pause that right now. Just going off of what the comment section is saying. B. Bean says, people are speculating that Camille Vasquez and Johnny Depp are having an affair, which I think is an unfair accusation. Sounds super unfair. Legal Pitbull, Camille Vasquez smirks when asked if she's dating Johnny Depp. Camille Vasquez had an interesting reaction when asked if she was romantically involved with our high-profile client, Johnny Depp. Pirates of the Caribbean actor's lawyer stayed tight-lipped when a photographer asked her about the dating rumors flooding social media on Tuesday outside of Fairfax County, Virginia. I personally did not hear these rumors. Despite the gift of gab, Depp's attorney refused to answer about her possible romance with the award winner. What she did next left the dating speculation open-ended. Looking directly into the camera and flashing a coy grin, Vasquez seemed to be saying the idea of dating Depp isn't totally out of the realm of possibility. The only problem, she's already taken. Vasquez is reportedly dating a British man who works in real estate, but they've only been dating for a few months, so it's most likely not that serious. Dating rumors began to swirl about Depp and his lawyer when fans noticed their chemistry seemed to heat up throughout the trial against Amber Heard. That sounds ridiculous. That sounds ridiculous. And then we have over here... a denial happening. Let's see if we can go to the denial. Johnny Depp's an attorney, Camille Vasquez. Romance rumors unequivocally untrue, source says. So, untrue rumors there. Paparazzi got Vasquez leaving the courthouse on Tuesday, and a photographer asked her if she's dating. Camille mum on dating speculation. Let's see if we can get this video here. How ridiculous. We'll play the video after this right now. Thanks again for the super chats and for everyone in the live stream. Much appreciated to have you guys out there. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. We'll be covering this case and others as we move along. Here they are. This is the speculation from the paparazzi.
Hi, Camille. The people want to know, are you dating Johnny Depp? It's all over the internet. Can you set the record straight? Yes or no? Oh, I love your dog. Thank you. Oh, I love you.
Great team. We love you guys. Thank you for your support. Camille. Good job.
I have to say, you'd think they'd have a little bit. Do they have security with them? I mean, I guess is this being a civil trial, you would never have this much attention on you, but they're celebrities at this point.
I'll give you a hug.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. You're great. Thank you.
Vinny said more people are coming to Amber's side. Yes, that is true. I will share with you some more celebrities coming to Amber's side in a moment. I'll be searching for that, and let's watch this deposition.
Testimony is that you only lived at the Eastern Columbia building in February of 2016 for 2 weeks.
It was around 2 weeks. I don't know the specific amount of time, but it was definitely a little over 2 weeks, less than a month. And yes.
And when you stayed at the Eastern Columbia building, did you stay in one of the penthouses?
Yes.
Okay. And did you understand that that penthouse was owned by Mr. Depp at the time?
I assumed it was, yes.
Okay. And for what purpose did you go to the Eastern Columbia building on May 21st, 2016?
To assist Raquel in getting ready for a bead show that she was going to be doing the following day.
Did you ever see Mr. Depp be violent towards anyone?
I experienced him that night as like I was scared of him. So that's all I can say from the moment that the one interaction I had with him that night, it was frightening to me. His behavior was frightening to me.
No, she wouldn't wear makeup?
I mean, I don't think of her as someone who wears a lot of makeup. No.
Yeah, you've known her a long time.
Right.
She's never been somebody that wears a lot of makeup, correct?
Exactly. Unless she's going to something that she needs to put makeup on for.
Right. But other than that, she's usually barefaced and beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's your recollection, your best recollection, that Miss Pennington was with you in Penthouse 5 and never left with Miss Heard before Mr. Depp arrived. Is that correct?
Correct.
So you hear some type of commotion. You don't know where it's coming from, correct?
It sounds like, yeah, it sounds like it's coming from, we hear commotion and then it feels like it's getting closer and closer and
She's
closer.
beautiful. No?
Did it sound like voices or did it sound like destruction?
It sounded like voices and destruction.
That the door was abruptly opened, correct?
Abruptly opened.
Okay, so you hear the commotion. It feels like it's getting closer and closer. What happened next?
Then, soon after the door slammed open and Johnny came like bursting through the door.
Who opened the door?
Johnny.
Okay. Was Johnny alone?
There was the two men behind him.
Okay.
Following him.
So Johnny opens the door. He's got his two, what we'll assume are his bodyguards, with him. What happens next?
So it all happened very fast. The door kind of burst open and he came in very, just from my perspective, really under the influence of something, drugs or alcohol.
Deborah said this witness is stunning. I mean, yes, she looks like she could be a cover model. Maybe she is.
He looked wasted. He was holding a very large bottle of wine, looked like some sort of like a Magnum bottle of wine, which was kind of spilling all over the place. And as he opened the door, he just, what I remember what he mumbled was, "Get your bitch out of here." And I just remember it all happened very fast, like the door slamming, him saying, "Get your bitch out of here," the wine, that whole, his whole being really frightened me. It almost felt like he was coming towards me from my perspective. Whether he was coming towards me or not, it scared me. And I just ran out past him.
You said Mr. Depp appeared to be either drunk or high. Is that correct?
He seemed to be intoxicated.
Okay. Is that different than drunk?
No, I guess. Yeah, he definitely seemed like he was under the influence of something.
And on May 21st, 2016, how was Mr. Depp's demeanor different?
It was much more sloppy and all over the place and frightening and combative. Felt very angry. He felt angry. And yeah.
And when you say combative, what was combative specifically about his demeanor?
Just the way he burst through the room, just very forcefully, and rushed in very quickly to the point that it made me want to get past him and run out very quickly. Like it wasn't an invite. It was very. Yeah, it was intense.
Okay. So Mr. Depp comes through the door.
Does anyone else, when you hear of a guy bursting through the room, does anyone else think of the Kool-Aid Man? Do you guys remember this guy? Oh yeah, remember that? He would literally just break the wall. Kool-Aid Man right there. Okay, that's all I had to say about that. So let's get back to this.
To Penthouse 5, and you hear him say something to the effect of, "Get your bitch out of here," correct? Mm-hmm. And then you ran out immediately thereafter?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see Mr. Depp?
I was just muting myself because I was asking my fiance if she's okay because she's not feeling well today.
Yes.
How much wine did you see him spill?
I don't remember.
A lot? The entire bottle?
Not the entire bottle. what I remember
Kind of Kardashian vocal fry, right? Very Kardashian.
coming out.
Would you say that being sloppy is different than being combative?
Yeah, I would say sloppy and combative are two different things.
And it's your testimony that Mr. Depp was on May 21st, 2016, both combative and sloppy, correct?
Yeah, I would describe it that there was a little bit of both. Yes, but combative and sloppy.
Yeah, Tasha's been in bed all day. Are you okay, Tasha? She just got up, but she's been kind of drinking NyQuil all day, feeling like flu-like symptoms. Tested negative for COVID, though.
Speaking?
No, it was completely the way he entered into the room, rushed in, his energy, the way it felt like he was coming after me, like he almost felt like from where I was standing, it felt like he was charging towards me, and I was scared, and it felt...
She's looking up. What does that mean?
It felt, combative. It felt... I'm trying to look for another
No, she didn't get a
word
booster
that can
shot.
describe what I
Yesterday,
felt,
at least.
but it was,
Oh, yeah.
it was scary. My heart was beating really fast, very quickly.
All right, let's break up this riveting testimony here. So one of our commenters said that there isn't enough sort of Amber Heard defense happening. So we actually have Monica Lewinsky, as we know, the intern that was in the sex scandal with President Bill Clinton. And of course, I think most people understand when we look back on that we had someone who was a college student who was slut shamed and all these other things and treated really, really poorly when, of course, Bill Clinton was the person who was in the position of power and whatnot. So an interesting take by her to bring up this thread, which we're going to read right now, from L. Dawson. I've seen some tweets from left-wing folks arguing that the Depp Heard trial is a celebrity tabloid mess and we should be focusing on the real issues right now. The country is going to shit. You're not wrong, but we need to talk about this trial too. Here's why. And I personally, I'm in the same thing where just because the country's going to shit doesn't mean we can't walk and chew gum at the same time. We have issues like these that need to be addressed along with other issues. So let's just read the thread here. This trial isn't a criminal case deciding Johnny Depp's innocence or guilt. It's a defamation case that will rule on whether or not Amber Heard and other victims of abuse are allowed to speak up. And is creating a legal playbook for other abusers to silence their victims. Well, I would first say that most abusers don't have the money that Johnny Depp has. So I don't think most people are going to make their victims go in a defamation lawsuit. And I also think and again, I could be wrong here, but I think most victims would have more evidence of being victimized. Photos, that are way more obviously like not to compare to other cases because everything's different, but we're not seeing a smoking gun here. Abusers often use the court system to continue to torment and control their victims after a relationship ends. This trial has trapped Heard in the past, keeps her entangled with Depp, and forces her to relive the worst moments of her life over and over. That's not true, but at the same time, we do know that Johnny Depp did pay her a settlement so that they wouldn't talk about this, and it's only after her op-ed that she was sued and after not paying the money. I believed her. The pain in her voice is genuine. She's not that good of an actress to fake this. So let's just have a watch here.
I have to have the worst, most painful things I've ever gone through, painful memories I've ever had, the things I've narrowly survived at times, embarrassing, intimate details that I never wanted to be known, never wanted to be public ever, and to have them used every single day to call me a liar. I have to relive this every single day that I have to address those claims.
Now, she could be drawing on the emotions she's feeling of having the internet hate her and also know that she was part of the problem, or she could be telling the truth and she had nothing to do with this and she's just a victim. It's really somewhere in between. Now, with that said, I saw some comments from people, I might have lost it, that, this is an important issue, says Liz, for men being falsely accused. Not all women are pure, virtuous saints. So, yeah, it's not just, it's complicated, and that's why everyone's watching it so closely. Johnny Depp chose to sue Heard in Virginia, even though they both live in California. I believe that's also not true. I believe he sued her in Virginia because that's where the Washington Post is based out of, I could believe. Legal experts think he did so to take advantage of weaknesses in the state's anti-SLAPP law, which ironically is supposed to protect free speech. I could be wrong there. They made a strategic move in hauling Amber Heard into a court in Virginia. I thought it was because of the Washington Post. I thought he didn't want to be in Virginia. I could be wrong. Because the trial is taking place in a county court in Virginia, streaming the proceedings is allowed with the judge's authorization. This puts even more pressure on Heard, with the entire world able to watch her testimony and heckle her online in real time. Well, we know that probably won't affect the outcome of the case. The jury, regardless of it being streamed to the rest of us, the jury is going to watch this as they would normally. But of course, this strategically was Johnny Depp wanting the truth to come out. I would personally trust watching the trial streamed the way we are versus, courtroom sketches and selective, transcripts. This is a chance for people to really suss it out for themselves, which I think is a good thing. I know it can be traumatic for her, but I think it's a good thing for everybody that, especially if someone's trying to prove their innocence, to let the truth air itself out. Ella continues, this case is about more than two celebrities. It has completely taken over the internet and warps our understanding of abuse in ways that hurt victims right now. YouTubers, TikTok creators, and even Etsy sellers are chasing the trend and cashing in. That is not wrong. Because of this trial's ubiquity on TikTok, kids and teenagers are bombarded by ignorant memes and biased opinions about domestic violence. What lessons are they absorbing about abuse victims and about the severity of domestic violence? How TikTok's coverage of Amber Heard of Johnny Depp radicalizes the youth. Now, I don't disagree with that statement whatsoever, but that's not Johnny Depp's problem. It's not Johnny Depp's problem that TikTok is just like a playground for absurd, we made a video earlier today criticizing Lance Bass for his distasteful reenactment of Amber Heard's deposition or Amber Heard's witness testimony. So it's not right, but that's not Johnny Depp's problem. I'm trying to get his truth out. Ella Dawson said on TikTok, folks have literally taken the audio of Amber Heard's testimony describing Depp physically assaulting her and make videos ridiculing her. Yeah, that's horrible. That's horrible. Domestic violence experts are scared that this trial will make victims feel less safe asking for help. And again, the response to that is people saying, well, if Amber Heard's lying, she's the one hurting actual victims. I can't imagine what this might be doing to someone who may eventually want to seek safety and support. My thought is that people rationally understand that we're not all celebrities, and in most cases, I think, thank you so much for subscribing, Jill. In most cases, I think we operate leaning on the side of believing women. I do. I think that's why, for those that believe Johnny Depp is telling the truth, there's this feeling that people have been duped because they wanted to believe Amber Heard until more information came out. So why is it that corporations and newspapers seem to be siding with her and the general public is siding with him? Is it for legal reasons? And I don't have the answer to that, but there really does seem to be a divide. Ella continues, as the internet turns against Heard, victims get a front row seat to how they too can be discredited. Heard has been framed as the real abuser or a mutual abuser. A psychologist hired by Depp's team falsely claimed Heard is bipolar and has histrionic personality disorder. I personally don't know how that's falsely claimed. That's her diagnosis. The mutual abuse claim is especially troubling as it frames abuse victims defending themselves or reacting violently after years of being on the receiving end of violence as just as bad as abuser's behavior. It confuses the actual dynamic at play. If you're a victim who has defended yourself against your abuser or been violent towards your abuser after being psychologically broken down by them, you are at risk of being arrested alongside them. You are also less likely to feel valid seeking the support you need. I mean, I hate to say it, but if you were only psychologically abused by someone and then you fight back physically, look, in the courts, physical violence isn't okay because you were psychologically or manipulate. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make it okay. Johnny Depp fans are quick to claim that Heard is exhibiting Darvo behavior, deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. In reality, that is what Depp has successfully done. After Heard wrote an op-ed about her experience as an abuse survivor, he fired back that she is the real offender. And the problem people have with this, Ella Dawson, is that they saw that Amber Heard had 13 months to pay $7 million, or even a fraction thereof, that she didn't do that she lied. So essentially she profited off of this story, and so did the ACLU. We saw all of that. That's why, if she is telling the truth, people are having a real hard time believing it. Meanwhile, Johnny Depp fans have begun to harass other victims. They're circling the wagons around Marilyn Manson, who is a prolific abuser and rapist. We can't not let the court system play out because there are Johnny Depp fans that are going to be aggressive or be a certain way. Unfortunately, and I'm not okay with that, but that's what happens online, is that there's going to be a small percentage of people that are ridiculous and they take things too far. That doesn't mean Johnny Depp shouldn't pursue his case if he believes he's been defamed. Depp fans are even harassing Depp's daughter for not publicly supporting him. Again, I push back on this too, because if there's 10 million people that support Johnny Depp and 50 to 100 of those are acting unreasonable, that's not Johnny Depp's problem. That's a problem with people on the internet being ridiculous. As a survivor who still struggles to understand what happened to me, I find it painful to see trends like Amber Heard is a liar and Amber Heard is a psychopath pop up every single day on Twitter. It sends a message that victims are exaggerating and need to shut up. I agree with Ella Dawson. I don't think a hashtag Amber Heard is a liar is productive. People can, come up with their opinions. The circus around the Depp Heard trial will insidiously damage the way we think about and talk about abuse and sexual violence for decades. It will indirectly hurt millions of victims who feel less safe getting help. That is only if she's telling the truth and is not believed. I turned off replies for this thread because as a survivor, I don't want to debate this. I do not believe Heard just because she's a woman. I believe her because she has a strong case. There is good, unbiased reporting that I encourage you to read. Vice has done a great job. I also believe Heard because multiple courts in the UK decided her story was credible. Now, as we know, these courts in the UK had judges that were connected to the Sun's owner, the newspaper, Rupert Murdoch. The Sun didn't libel Depp when they called him a wife beater. A judge found that 12 of the 14 alleged incidents of domestic violence had occurred. And of course, as we know, this court case didn't involve the ACLU mentioning that she had never paid the money. It was a big part of the court case, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. It was a big part of the court case that they believed she wasn't operating with bad intentions because she paid the ACLU, when of course we know she didn't. All right, so it goes on and on. Hey, Surf, just subscribe. Thank you so much for the subscription. And for everyone else who subscribed and donated to the Patreon, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. This live stream is demonetized. YouTube is demonetizing all Amber Heard, Johnny Depp content. So we are relying just on donations. Thank you so much for that. All right, let's go back. I'm going to catch my breath here and we'll go back to this deposition.
And I was freaked out.
Okay, so after you exchanged some text messages with Miss Pennington, you came out of your hiding spot and then went to Miss Pennington and Mr. Drew's penthouse. Is that correct?
Correct.
So who was in Penthouse 1 when you got out of the hiding spot and came to Penthouse 1?
I mean, it was Josh, Raquel, Amber, and I were the people that were at some point in there during that time.
Okay. Do you remember the first time you saw Miss Heard after this incident?
I remember seeing her after that incident, and it was in that apartment.
In Penthouse 1?
Correct.
So the first time you saw Miss Heard after this incident on May 21st, 2016 was in Penthouse 1. What do you recall seeing, the first thing you saw when you saw Miss Heard?
I just remember she looked really upset and disheveled, and her hair was a mess, and she had a swollen face. Red. She had a red, swollen face.
Okay. Had you ever seen Miss Heard cry before May 21st, 2016?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember.
Okay. What side of her face was swollen?
So I'm just going to pause this again to answer some of your questions. B. Bean said, wait, the UK judgment was corrupt. I don't know if you're saying that ironically, if you just haven't looked into this. In our last article in May 2021, we reported on how Johnny Depp came to the UK to seek justice and was deprived of the right of a fair trial. A story all too familiar with many thousands who come to the courts in the UK to get justice only to be served more injustice. The USA courts are more focused on delivering justice. The 17th August, the chief judge in Fairfax, presiding over the Depp v. Heard 2019 case, dismissed Heard's claims, stating all matters had been tried in the UK, endorsing our view and citing the 11-page pretrial opinion that the court is not persuaded by defendant's argument that plaintiff had a full and fair opportunity to litigate the UK action. So what they're saying is Johnny Depp didn't have the full chance in the UK to defend himself. Defendant was not a part in the UK action. It was not treated as one. In fact, defendant could not have been a named defendant to the UK litigation because her alleged defamatory statements were made after the UK action commenced. An obvious conflict of interest. Let's face it, the UK trial was a sham. The judge, Andrew Nichol, is intimately connected with Dan Wootton, the Sun's journalist who posted the defamatory allegation that JD was a wife-beater. The connection is through the judge's own son, Robert Palmer. So the judge's son in the UK court trial, Robert Palmer, worked alongside Wootton at Talk Radio, part of the same group owned by Rupert Murdoch's News Corp. Wootton, I think I'm pronouncing that right, is a journalist and broadcaster from New Zealand, an executive editor of the Sun newspaper, and a regular host of Talk Radio's Drive Time show. An incestuous conflict of interest, putting it mildly. Why, knowing of this conflict, did Mr. Justice Nichol preside over the case, we ask? Why, in such a high-profile case, did the Lord Chief Justice allow Mr. Justice Nichol to preside over the case when any other judge could have done so? We believe the answers are naturally self-revealing. All right, folks? It's interesting. It's a lot more interesting than a random tweet saying, hey, but Johnny Depp lost the case. Let's do the research. Let's look into it.
I think it was her right side of her face.
Do you have an independent recollection that it was the right side of her face that was swollen?
I'm taking myself back there and trying to remember like where I was standing versus, you know what I mean? I think it was, I think looking at her, it was on my left and her right side.
Okay, so let's talk about her hair seemed disheveled. Is that what you said? Her hair was disheveled?
Mm-hmm.
Was she crying?
Yeah, there was definitely tears.
Was she animated?
Yeah, she was visibly really upset.
Okay, so visibly very upset means what? She was crying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what else?
Tears, sadness, felt like confusion, felt like those were the main things.
Would you describe, what did Mr. Drew say, if anything?
I don't remember him saying what he said. I think everybody was just shaken up.
So soon after you went into Penthouse 1, you remember some police officers coming to Penthouse 1?
I remember there was police officers in the hallway.
Okay. Was Miss Heard icing her face after the incident, but before the police arrived?
I think so.
Who gave her the ice?
I don't remember.
So you were in Penthouse 1 when the police came. How do you know that they came? What did you hear? What did you see?
Because they said the police are here. So I
Who
remember.
said that?
I don't remember. Again, this is a very long time ago, so specific details are going to be really hard for me to remember. Okay. I just knowing that police were there in the hallway, 2 of them.
And in February, when you lived at the Penthouse for a few weeks, you didn't hear or see any abuse by Mr. Depp towards Miss Heard, correct?
Correct.
And did you go to Amber and Johnny's penthouse thereafter, or where did you
please
go
address
next?
So I just remember at some point ending up, yes, at some point we were in their penthouse afterwards, in Johnny and Amber's. At some point we went over there.
And did you go over there, you think, after the police came?
It was after the first 2 police officers came.
Okay. Do you remember glass on the floor?
At this point in time, I don't remember what I saw. I don't remember if it was cleaned up by the time I got there or...
Surf asked, has she paid the Children's Hospital? No, she has not.
Do you recall seeing wine spilled?
I recall seeing wine spilled in the hallway, like a lot of wine spilled in the hallway.
When do you recall seeing the wine spilled in the hallway?
At some point in the night, maybe after, before I recall, I mean, I don't remember specifically, but I remember seeing wine spilled in the hallway. I remember that being one of the things that I saw that was part of the destruction of whatever happened.
Okay, so the police come, and you stayed in Penthouse 1.
Correct.
Okay. It was after the police officers left that you went to Penthouse 3, correct, where Amber and Johnny lived?
Correct.
Recall seeing wine spilled in the hallway?
I remember seeing wine spilled in the hallway, yeah.
Okay. And you saw the wine after the police officers came, correct?
I think so.
Did Miss Pennington take any photographs of the scene?
I remember Raquel taking photographs of Amber's face.
Okay. And now going to your description of Miss Heard's face, you said it was the right side of her face. You said it was, what, swollen and red?
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Correct. Yeah, it was swollen and red.
Was any part of her face more swollen than others?
It was around her eye.
Had bruising developed already?
No, it was red and swollen.
Okay. So you did not see any bruising on Miss Heard's face the evening of May 21st, 2016, correct?
I saw a red, swollen, puffy face.
Okay. And just on the right side, correct?
Correct.
But wasn't it your testimony, Ms. Mars, that you were inside Penthouse 1 when the first police officers came to the scene?
Correct.
And how much time do you estimate they spent in the penthouses?
I don't remember. The second group of officers, there was 2 sets of officers that came. The second set of officers that I actually was in the apartment in PH3, I think it was.
Did you hear about either Miss Heard, Mr. Drew, or Miss Pennington cleaning anything that Mr. Depp allegedly destroyed?
I don't remember, but I do remember that I'm pretty sure that.
All right, let's check out. Let's just pause this. We'll get back to her in a second. It's obviously incredibly boring, the actual information coming out, but we do have a TikTok here. Let's just have a watch accusing Amber Heard's sister of lying. Let's see what the proof is.
When Amber said that she was on the stairs and Johnny was about to push.
Is this an Irish accent? I love this. By the way, thank you so much to Dwander for subscribing. When you subscribe or donate on the super chat, I get a nice little dinosaur jumping right there. So thank you so much for that.
Her sister down them. Well, her sister also testified that that happened, but her sister's boss made a testimony. Okay, this is Amber's sister, Whitney. And Whitney worked for this lady in the middle, Jennifer Howell. This is her declaration. Whitney Henriquez, whose maiden name, Whitney Heard, is my dear friend. She has told me that I'm her chosen sister. I also call her my chosen sister. Whitney worked for me at a non-profit organisation that I founded 22 years ago and run called Art of Elysium. Apologies if I butchered the word. We take artists and help them be of service to communities in need. We serve over 30,000 individuals in need each year. Whitney volunteered for the organisation in 2014 for 6 months and worked full-time as a paid employee for me between 2015 and 2016, where Whitney served as an art salon manager-director. I have learned that Whitney testified in court July 23rd in London about a violent incident in March 2015 on the stairs at Johnny Depp's penthouse. She testified that Johnny supposedly hit Amber and her, Whitney, on the stairs at Johnny's downtown penthouse. Then Whitney had to go live with her employer, where she had to sleep on the floor. I am not an employer. This is not what I was told to be true. First, Whitney came to live in the guest room of my apartment on Wiltshire Boulevard, not on my floor, but in my guest room. Second, when Whitney arrived, she was a mess. Whitney told me she tried to stop her sister Amber from hitting and attacking Johnny on the stairs. Whitney said when she tried to intervene to stop Amber from going after Johnny, Amber nearly pushed Whitney down the stairs. She told me she was worried Amber, quote, was going to kill Johnny. She, Whitney, told me she had endured that kind of abuse her entire life, first from her father and then from Amber, who she said was extremely violent. She lived with me because she did not feel she could go back to live at the Eastern Columbia building. My father reminded me this morning that I told him, quote, Whitney had moved in with me because she was terrified of her sister. While Whitney was living with me, she told me that Johnny kept checking in to see how she was doing and that he called her sis and she called him brother. Whitney said to me on multiple occasions that she did not know why he was staying in the relationship, nor why he was putting up with Amber's abuse. Whitney shared with me the damage endured by both her and Amber as children and the injury she had suffered from Amber both psychologically and physically. Whitney was devastated during this time and my heart broke for her. Part 2. Do you remember when Amber said that she was on the stairs?
All right, so do you guys want to continue watching this? Does this make sense here? Some interesting staircase lie. Let's go to staircase lie part 2.
Okay, we left off. I asked Amber's publicist why, when she and Amber were. Okay, we left off at number 6. I asked Amber's publicist why, when she and Amber had been so eager to use our name in the press during the divorce, and when the funds would mean so much to a small organisation like ours, would Amber direct all the money to these other 2 huge charities that she had not been associated with? Amber's publicist told me that they were more prominent charities with a more significant press reach and got international press. Then, months later, a $250,000 donation came into our organisation from an anonymous donor, quote, on behalf of Amber Heard. The funds did not come from Amber. I believe this donation came from Elon. Years later, on July 24th, 2020, I received 2 subpoenas from Johnny's attorney after Whitney testified about sleeping on my floor following the stairs incident. The following day,
All right, just a quick pause here. Thank you so much to Donna for the Venmo and Barbara for the Venmo. Both Venmoed me $5. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's several cups of coffee that'll keep us going. I'm going to get out of this.
Okay,
no offense to Stacy. This is really good content here, but it's it's kind of tough to read through them all. Let's see what she said about Johnny's team.
This to Johnny. First, I'd like to say Johnny does have this information.
Hold on,
well,
Mara.
Johnny's. First, I'd like to say Johnny. I asked Amber. Everyone's telling me to send this to Johnny's attorneys, but this is from Johnny's attorneys. This testimony was made by Jennifer Howell.
What a crazy world it is where people think that TikTokers have information that the attorneys don't. All right, so the full report is available. We don't need to get to that, but thank you so much for that content. Very good. And also, there's so much talk going on about Johnny's penthouse that I figured we'd do a little penthouse tour. This is Johnny's penthouse complete tour. Eastern Columbia building, downtown LA. Wow. These are the penthouses. Now, I know a comic, I'm a stand-up comedian, and Doug Stanhope is friends with Johnny Depp. So I know some comics that actually got to stay at this penthouse, but look at this place. Nice pool on the roof. Oh my gosh, that must be so amazing. And he has what, five penthouses? Boulangerie, Maldin. Not bad, right? Show us some outside. So he's got 5. I mean, they're not amazing, but for an apartment in downtown Los Angeles, unbelievable. Just a nice hideout for him. It's probably, it's obviously doorman, so you need a specific code to get into the elevators. So don't forget, Deborah, he has 5 of these. Plus he has 5 mansions in West Hollywood, an island in the Bahamas. There it is. Doesn't it look like it's out of some like Batman movie? It looks. I'm guessing this was the Eastern building was from Eastern Electric. I could be wrong. I live about 5 miles from here. So anyway, he had that, and then he had the Bahamas island.
From what I know, it's been a rough few years for A-list actor Johnny Depp. Let me start by saying he was probably my first Hollywood crush amount of time. We also know that Mr. Depp has enjoyed a lavish lifestyle.
Let's do the penthouse tour.
His living quarters we know about is his yachts.
All right, here it is.
Unfortunately, for his mom to live. Although Johnny's Kentucky farm may be a little modest, don't be fooled.
So there's a farm in
the
Kentucky.
star used a handful of his cash to buy an entire chain of islands in the Bahamas back in 2004. Back then it was apparently only $3.6 million to purchase, but I'm guessing he spent more to build on the islands too. The land Johnny bought was called Little Halls Pond Cay, and the island is 45 acres with 6 beaches. Naturally, Johnny named the beaches Paradise, Lily Rose, Jack, Brando, and Gonzo. Johnny said about his little slice of paradise, "I don't think I've ever seen any place so pure and beautiful. You can feel your pulse rate drop about 20 beats. It's instant freedom." Houses were all very artsy and
All
colorful.
right, we have that.
Including a master suite with a fireplace.
Where's
Outside
that? Is this France?
Johnny's mansion is 7,430 square feet and has 8 bedrooms and 10 baths, including a master suite with a fireplace. Outside, there's a pool and a hot tub and sits on 4 acres of land. The castle had an interesting history and was actually owned by the 1930s Dracula mansion he rented out in the Highgate neighborhood of London, so I'm not sure how long he lived there. If you guys know, be sure to tell me in the comments. After seeing all of Johnny's eccentric properties, including his French village, a private island, multiple penthouses, and more, which was your fave? I definitely love his main estate in the—
I'm just happy that I got a second bedroom that I can do my YouTube videos from. But how wild is that? Let's go back to the deposition.
Before I got into I remember that knowing that the place was cleaned up before I entered in there.
Before you entered into where?
Into the main apartment.
So you recall Josh, Drew cleaning up before you entered Penthouse 3. What was he cleaning up exactly?
I just remember by the time that I had gotten into that apartment that someone had cleaned up the glass and the wine that was on the floor.
Do you recall who told you that Penthouse 3 had been cleaned up?
No one specifically told me. It was, what I was expressing is that it was cleaned up before I got there for the most part. I just remember that for the most part. From what I don't remember.
To clarify, Ms. Mars, when you came into Penthouse 3, after the police officers, the first set of police officers came and left.
Thank you so much, Donna, right here. Let me see if I can get this pulled over. Why is it? I don't know why it's not pulling over here. I just got a nice Venmo from Donna, so thank you so much for that.
Broken on the floor, baskets of fruit that had been on the kitchen island, fruit everywhere, baskets on the ground, containers holding the spoons and forks, kitchen utensils spilled, a lamp, a little statue thing, broken in Penthouse 5. I'm sorry, Penthouse 3.
Now that I'm reading this, I'm sort of remembering that there was like some stuff that had like something that had been broken, like a little like the statue thing kind of sounds familiar to me now that I'm reading this, but again, I don't remember when I walked in if there was, and I don't remember this being on the floor. Okay. I don't remember seeing.
Okay. So you don't remember seeing it?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it. I don't remember. But again, as I'm reading this statue, when I see the statue, there's something that's like, oh, maybe, yeah, I feel like I remember there was some things that were broken, but I don't specifically remember what they were.
You did not witness firsthand?
I didn't firsthand anything. I didn't witness firsthand Johnny abusing Amber.
But do you recall testifying to
What
that
it comes
fact,
down to,
that
right?
Johnny
Trying to find first-hand witnesses of her being abused by Johnny. Now, I know what people say. They go, well, look, that's hard to happen. This happens behind closed doors, which I totally understand. But they need to find the evidence.
charged at you and then you were scared?
He charged towards me and I was scared. I ran past him.
You didn't run past him because he told everyone in that penthouse to get out of his penthouse?
I ran past him because he ran into the unit.
We're never going to get through this because it's so bloody boring, but that's okay. So let's go to Amber busted and called out by talk show host. Let's see what this TikTok is all about.
2018, correct? I've only been able to participate in, I believe, one live event.
Hold up. So September 2018, I moderated an event with Amber Heard. Was this the one live event?
All right, I don't know. That wasn't really didn't have much of a payoff there. Everyone's getting in on it.
Unit, and it scared the shit out of me because he was wasted and screaming. So that's why I ran out. If there's a grown-ass man coming at you and saying, get your bitch out of here, and swaying a magnum-sized bottle of wine, I'm sure, I don't know what anyone do. I can't say what anyone do, but I ran out.
And will you just remind us what side of Miss Heard's face you recall the marks being on May 21st, 2016?
The right side of her face.
Do you feel indebted to Miss Heard in any way?
No.
Have you ever done Miss Heard's makeup?
No.
You testified earlier today that Miss Heard often, in the times you saw her, would not be wearing makeup. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is it possible in some of those times that she was wearing the type of makeup we ladies sometimes use to not appear as though we're wearing makeup?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell whether or not she was wearing basic concealer or foundation?
Correct.
Talk to me about the loud noises. What did you hear?
Yeah, just screaming, yelling, doors slamming, commotion.
Could you tell whether the screaming and the yelling was a male voice or a female voice?
From what I can remember, male.
And could you tell where the screaming and the yelling was coming from?
It felt like it was started farther down the hallway, and then it was coming like closer. So essentially, I mean, I don't know, but it could have been the hallway.
And so after you start hearing the screaming and the yelling and the door slamming and the commotion, you testify that Mr. Drew got up and went to the door?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
What did Mr. Drew do?
He was kind of pacing by the door and looking through the peephole.
And what happened next?
And then the door like burst open and Johnny came charging in and screamed, again holding the magnum-sized bottle of wine, flailing it around, looked intoxicated, kind of stumbling, and screamed, "Get your bitch out of here," as he ran in my direction. And I was scared. It was very frightening and just scary and unexpected. And so I just darted out past him and ran up towards the pool gym area and hid there.
Prior to the night of May 21, 2016, had a man ever charged at you holding a Magnum bottle of wine, screaming profanities?
Objection.
And what was your reaction to this event when it happened on May 21, 2016?
Fear.
Besides the screaming and the door slamming and the wine waving, do you recall anything else about Mr. Depp's actions that evening? During that moment, I guess I should say.
Just erratic. I would describe it as erratic behavior.
So, obviously this is Amber Heard's friend, but earlier we saw the testimony from Amber Heard's sister. And now we've got the text messages from Amber Heard's sister to Johnny Depp. Whitney Heard texted to Johnny Depp about her sister Amber Heard. Like, physically hit you? That doesn't surprise me at all. So, this is from the sis. She just hit me, so she's all right. Depp said, physically hit you? That doesn't surprise me at all. I'm sorry. The sister said, physically hit you? That doesn't surprise me at all. And he says, no. Fuckwad. As in, I'm guessing that's what that says. As in, contacted. You funny. She said, I'm a riot. Glad she's okay, though. Now she's ignoring me. Maybe that says something. No fuckhead. As in, contacted. She, anyway. It's hard to understand these, text messages that with no other context. But let's go back to this deposition. We're going to wrap this up here in a few minutes.
Was anyone else with Mr. Depp when he charged into Penthouse 5?
Behind him were two men.
What about Ms. Heard?
No,
What about Ms. Pennington?
no.
So you testified that after Mr. Depp burst into the apartment and started charging towards you, that you darted out and hid in, I believe it's a communal exercise area, is that correct?
Yeah, I darted out and went up the stairs and hid somewhere over by there.
Why did you hide?
Because I was scared.
Sorry, say again, why did you hide?
Because I was scared.
What were you scared of?
I just didn't know what he would do. I didn't know what he would do.
And the he there is who?
Johnny.
What were you thinking when you were hiding in the communal exercise area?
I don't remember. Just that I just remember being scared and not wanting to leave that area until like I was clear that I wasn't going to be attacked.
And at some point, did you leave the area?
Yes.
I'm gonna dip out of this testimony. It is so boring. I don't think it's gonna make too much of a difference today. But we have, I believe this is from yesterday, clip. Here's a clip of Johnny Depp's attorney hugging Johnny Depp after the cross-examination of Amber Heard. It doesn't look like there's any audio there, but here they are. So clearly they have a feeling like they are really doing everything that they're setting out to do here. Whether or not that plays is a different case here, but they're celebrating. They're getting do they know something we don't know that hasn't been brought up yet? I'm not sure. But they really feel great. Absolutely a beautiful moment. Camille definitely held her own today during that cross. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for her career. I mean, everyone's self-serving, right? But her whole career came up to this moment. We're talking days, weeks, months of preparing to cross-examine. I'm sure they hired someone to portray Amber Heard, to study what Amber Heard might say or do so that she can retort back. I compare this a lot to roast battles in the comedy world. In a roast battle, it's one comedian telling jokes to another comedian. So if another comedian knows that my father's dead, they might have jokes prepared to roast me for having a dead dad. Now, why is this important? Well, if I know the other comedian maybe has a pet that they love that passed away, and I make fun of that, they're going to be ready to retort based off of, and give me a stronger comeback. Does this make sense? So when Johnny Depp's attorney is asking Amber Heard questions, the goal is not always to hear what Amber Heard has to say. It's to paint her in a certain way by the questions being asked, and then depending on how Amber Heard responds to that, slam back and forth. It's a tennis match. So clearly she feels like she hit the nail on the head. And of course, we've mentioned this before. A lot of people agree. Speculation, we said earlier that Johnny Depp and Camille are dating. Of course, they've denied that. It sounds ridiculous. I think at this point, they're all in survival mode. So anyway, they're kind of like, this is where they're at. See if there's some more photos here. When you can't hold your laugh anymore because there's obvious lies. So we can't show it there. Look at the audience. And again, the defenders of Amber Heard are saying this is just a witch trial. Like, nobody's taking her side. What is the sort of psychology there about no one taking Amber Heard's side? Or do people have good intuition and understand that things aren't lining up? Could be a little bit of both. All right, let's go back to the behavior. Let's go back here and let's just dip out of this interview and go, this is the makeup artist. We'll dip out of that one. Let's go to the acting coach here, which was the last one of the day. We'll start with the acting coach and then we'll wrap up with this, I think.
To realize
All right. Let's see here. Let's fast forward here.
It's going to be an asymmetrical swelling. The swelling will make your lips asymmetrical. I think that.
All right, your next witness.
Your Honor, we're going to call Christy Sexton, and this is by video deposition as well.
All right.
That'll be the last one
Video
for the day.
depositions are gonna be the bane of my existence.
Some preliminaries. Ms. Sexton, why don't you state your whole name for the record and your current address?
Christina Lisette Sexton, Queensland, Australia.
For how long, Ms. Sexton, have you lived in Australia?
I've been at that address since July 2017. There was a transitionary period. I met my husband in December of 2015. So 16 and 17 decisions on which country we were going to move to and such. So I did not establish residency here until July, and then began all my paperwork subsequently when we were married in October.
We're just going to bounce over here real quick to a live that's happening right now with legal experts.
Believing what they're being told by a friend and are believing the narrative because they're being fed it and they haven't seen it, but they're going to, well, you're telling me this thing and oh my God, look, you have this bruise. So why would you do that to yourself or make that up? And
why would you ever lie about any of it?
Yeah. And so, you know, it's an interesting debate. Linda, do you share that feeling? You're like, no, I don't buy any of it.
No, I totally agree with Kim. I do think there's probably a lot more to it. It's more complicated. She had stated, she's like, we're not really on speaking terms, but we're not enemies. So I feel like even if, say, things went bad, there's a possibility that she really did have a true friendship with her or felt a real connection where she could be possibly sad to the point of, a friendship ending, not necessarily, everything that they've gone through, just the fact that, it was like, this is somebody that's like a stranger now, and we used to have such a good friendship. But what threw me off completely was you see the first testimony with her, she's completely like wall up, and she's a little sarcastic. There's some undertones there in her answers. Yep. And then you see today where she's got her hair up in a scrunchie, and she's also in completely a different way portraying herself. Like her clothes were lighter. Everything was lighter, and like you guys are saying, how the story was kind of going with sequences that we've heard from Amber. So it's just a little weird that like day one she was like this, and then day two we have her completely with these tense eyebrows and just, I don't know. It's very, very odd, but that's why I think Kim's onto something that it's more complicated than we think.
Absolutely. Well said. I couldn't agree more, and I was wondering it, but some people are like, no, you're not allowed to have any. I don't know. I wonder. I don't know. And so we're looking at all this. It's up for the jury to believe.
Well, and it could be a combination. So it could be partly that, like somebody like Rocky got told stories by Amber over and over again. So then they're set up to believe that Johnny's this awful being. Although going against that is they've known Amber for years. So they know she's volatile.
Right.
They know she's physically violent.
They're no longer friends with her, probably for reasons like that, too.
Well, but even beyond that, going way back, she's got a history of being violent with her sister, being violent with her ex, et cetera. And they've got to have witnessed her volatility. And so then for them to come through with this totally one-sided story, Johnny's evil and Amber's an angel, that doesn't really fit with them just being pulled in by her story. And then I think in the end, that May 21st thing, Rocky seems too much a part of the illusion of the DV. And a couple of things came out in her testimony. One was Johnny has said that when he went there May 21st, and there was a discussion with Amber, and then all of a sudden Rocky is there at the couch, and he believed Rocky was hiding in the penthouse.
Couch.
Sorry, anytime someone says couch, I got to play the button, man.
Oh.
But yes.
And so today she reveals that she had a key to Penthouse 3 through 5. So she could have easily been in there. And 3 through 5 is all connected, so she could have easily been in there. Right. And then another thing, I've been hearing this story for years about how Johnny did all this destruction that night, including going in and destroying where these beads were that Rocky had worked so hard on because she's going to have a show. and all this destruction happened. And they show the photo of the destruction. They showed it today again. They showed it, I think, yesterday or the day before. And it's just one bead thing tipped over onto the couch. It's not destruction, and it looks staged. And even at staging it, they weren't willing to destroy very much to stage it for the picture.
Well,
so
the bananas all over the floor. The bananas on the floor got me yesterday. It was like, oh, the horror! The bananas! No!
Manners, oh no. All right, well, look, I know Ann and Christopher are on a time crunch. And also, oh my gosh, we just got Amy in as well. Perfect timing, because I want to, as Amy gets in the building and finally Verg makes her phone correct every time, she'll figure it out. But it's time to pivot over to the main story, because I know Christopher and Ann, I'm gonna have to let them go a little earlier, but we got a lot more to go through. I'm gonna go back and play some more Rocky clips and more. Guess what? You get to watch the full stream if you missed it. You guys are watching live, you're gonna see it all. But if you're watching on the replay, you're like, wait, I want to see more. Hit the join button, become a member if you want to watch it tonight or tomorrow. Watch the full 3-hour replay at your leisure. So thank you guys for watching that, and stay tuned for that part. All right, but Amy Goodwin is here. Good heart to start. I don't know why I keep.
All right, let's go back to the excuse me. Let's go back here to the acting coach.
2017.
So I take it from your last answer, Ms. Sexton, that Australia was the lucky winner for which country you and your husband would choose to live in. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed.
And do you currently have a job? Do you currently work right now in Australia?
Yes, I'm an acting coach.
When was it, to the best of your recollection, that she took a class that you were a TA in?
I believe it was sometime in 2009.
For how long did you remain Amber Heard's primary or exclusive acting coach?
I don't know about exclusive. We don't have any sort of exclusivity contracts. She may work with other coaches. The last time we worked on a project together would be Aquaman, so 2017. I don't know about exclusive. We don't have any sort of exclusivity contracts. She may work with other coaches. The last time we worked on a project together would be Aquaman, so 2017.
Okay, so the first movie, or the first TV series, I should say, that you recall working on as an acting coach with Amber Heard was the Playboy Club.
Yes.
Listed there 2011.
Yes.
I take it from what you just described that although the frequency varied, it's fair to say, is it not, that you saw Ms. Heard many, many, many times during the period between 2010 and 2017?
Oh, yes.
Would it be fair to say that you saw Ms. Heard during this 7-year period more than 100 times?
Easily, yes.
And when you say easily, do you think it's also fair to say that you saw her more than 200 times?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm going to go up another 100. Same answer for 300 times?
Yeah. As I said, when I would see her, it would be multiple times a week in preparation for a project.
When's the last time that you had a session with Amber Heard as her primary acting coach?
Mid-2017.
During that early period when she lived on Orange Avenue, how would you describe, Amber Heard as an actor?
She was really focused on moving to the next level of her career and really stretching herself as an actor. Which is why she started coaching so much at that time and initially even went to classes. So she was really driven to do a lot of work and kind of mine out everything that we could from the text and go over things a lot. So she was very driven as an actor to, I would say, get to the next phase of her career.
We're looking at Sexton 1, refresh your recollection as to when that took place. That's the IMDb page.
Yes, it was either 2011 or 2012. If it's saying that it came out in 2011, then the premiere would have been in 2011, so yeah.
When was the next time you recall seeing Johnny or Mr. Depp?
I would say sometime in the middle of the following year.
So sometime in the middle of 2012, you think?
Yeah.
And where was that?
At her house on Orange. I remember seeing him quite a bit. In the early period.
Again, I'm focused on the early period. Did
I
you
had to
have
get a nice
occasion
coffee.
to run into Mr. Depp at your coaching sessions with Amber later when she moved into Sweetser Avenue and then at the Penthouse in downtown Los Angeles?
Yes, I did see him often at both Sweetser and the downtown house.
We'll be going live tomorrow morning in the
Over
Patreon.
that period of time, did you observe change?
If anyone wants to join the Patreon, we will be going live at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, private live stream. And I think we'll go live again tomorrow afternoon, public live stream.
Darker as time went on. He was, like, figuratively and literally, he would sit in dark rooms. The art overall changed. Like, everything got much darker in the houses with, like, heavy, it was always a little, I don't know what the art form would be, dark, but it just, like, literally lighting would go down and big curtains would be everywhere, and he became much less talkative as time went on. I would see less and less of him personally. I would hear him in the house, but I would see less and less of him interaction-wise. And when I did, he wasn't very happy.
What would you hear him say on those occasions when you could hear him but not see him?
At different points in time, I heard different things. Sometimes it would just be him milling around the house.
Thanks for the
Sometimes
subscription.
it would be him having conversations with his team, bodyguards and stuff, or his friends that were over making music at the Sweetser location. Sometimes it was him and Amber fighting. Like, I was in his home, so I heard him quite a bit.
You said a couple of answers ago that from time to time you would hear Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard fighting. Can you, again, keeping it...
Good night, Deborah. Have a good evening, Deborah in Switzerland. Hey, Teresa, look at that, a $10 donation. Thank you so much. Yeah, Teresa, you don't have to do that. I appreciate it. Teresa came to my stand-up show the other night and brought me a great pack of edibles.
And then, like, I remember one time in specific that I could hear Amber was trying to get out of the room, and then the door shut again. And then
for the Patreon members, I actually have, let's see if this pops up.
Okay, good.
I have this stand-up show from yesterday. This was yesterday. Now a lot of you guys know, we'll get back to the Johnny Depp stuff. I make recap videos all day, and then I had a show 2 hours out of town last night, which I did. Of course, I do stand-up comedy for the new people out there. But pretty good outdoor backyard brewery show.
Okay, guys, this next guy coming to the stage, he is also a friend of mine, very funny guy, really making a name for himself in the comedy community. Everybody make some noise right now for Dave Neal.
So this was a fun show, but if you want to watch the full video, you can hear the full video on the Patreon.
Biscuits, you know what I mean? They climb the stairs and we leave, and then they had that young... I go, they're fucking green, and I walked her away. And then afterwards, she was like, why would you care if a bunch of teenage boys hit on me? She was like, would you care if a bunch of teenage girls hit on you? I was like, that would have made my fucking summer. Are you kidding me? My love language is affirmations, and I don't check IDs at the door. That's my time. Thank you guys so much.
Anyway, if you want to watch the 15-minute set, I'm going to have it. It's on my Patreon right now.
Your lady can be asleep. You can jerk off with a glass of red wine sitting on the bed.
It was a weird one, but you guys can go check that out. Obviously, a little less heavy than the Johnny Depp trial, but just wanted to give myself the plug in there during this otherwise very boring deposition. Thanks, Phil.
At the beginning of their relationship, once Ms. Heard has revealed to you that they were in fact in a relationship, did she talk to you about Mr. Depp's struggles with drugs and alcohol?
In the early parts of their relationship, she had said that he was sober. She was trying to support him in his sobriety. And then subsequently throughout the relationship, we would talk about his breaks in sobriety.
Based on your work as Ms. Heard's acting coach, primary acting coach, was it your understanding that Mr. Depp had opinions about what role Ms. Heard should take?
There were a couple of occasions where I actually heard Johnny say, why would you want to do that kind of role? My woman isn't going to play that kind of role. Stuff like that I heard a few times from him over the course of time.
Other than saying that hearing Mr. Depp say he didn't want his woman playing a whore, did you ever hear him use any other language like that about the kind of roles that Ms. Heard was being offered? To focus you
Yeah,
in.
she's been accused of reading a lot, and to be quite honest, there just isn't too much else to share there. What I can do, though, is look and see if there's anything we're missing with regards to the trial and how it went down today. Let's go over here and just pull up Twitter. There's just a lot of, I don't know, a lot of garbage out there. Amber Heard claims Johnny Depp was physically abusive and she lived in fear of him, so she gave him this huge knife as gift. Makes sense, right? I mean, look, I don't like that. I don't like these types of. I'll put it this way. I think someone can be fearful of someone else's rage and still, in a nice moment, give them a gift. Like, I don't think this would say anything that she would give a gift. After all the trash that I've taken a stand on Amber's behalf, I completely understand and do not fault for a minute why he drank and did drugs. I would too if I had to deal with these freeloading. See you next Tuesdays. Now, look, obviously his addictions probably started way before Amber Heard and him got together. Johnny had cops, nurses, security, and doctors testify for him. Amber's witnesses are a few friends she doesn't speak to anymore that didn't even want to turn up to court. If you're still Team Amber, just think about that for a moment. Interesting. So in Johnny's 58 years, the only person to witness him being violent is his fame-hungry ex-wife. Her freeloading friends living rent-free in his penthouse block never saw any violence, and she heals faster than Wolverine in time for TV and press events. That's a good way to put it. If Johnny Depp was the abuser in this relationship, I believe he would isolated Amber Heard from all of her family and friends, not inviting them to stay at his houses, pay for their living, and keep them watching him abusing her, right? That's actually probably one of the better takes, is that usually abusers will divide people from their family or friends. Since we're hearing on Josh Drew, let's remind y'all of these texts with Amber Heard. So what? These are texts between, let's see, Josh and Amber Heard. Josh said, "Hey lady, I'm going to make us some dinner when I get back from the airport. You or Johnny Depp interested in joining us?" She said, "Duh." He said, "Get the fuck out of here. That's awesome. No problem. We'll bring it over when it's ready." And then Amber Heard said, "But Johnny is getting my tattoo tonight at the house. Would be perfect because it gives Johnny and I time to talk. Otherwise, no as me threatening his life if he misbehaves as me threatening his wife if he misbehaves while I'm gone. I think 9:30ish for dinner prob. We'll keep an eye on him. I'm picking her up around 8 or 9. Johnny and I have to have a little talk tonight when we get home, probably till like 8, and then we're cool. Rock gets in at 9:30, right? You guys want to come over after that and hang out and eat a drink? Perfect." And then he said, "I'll bring them just in case." I don't know what this is supposed to prove. Does anyone else? "I have a giant new knife you can borrow if you like." Okay, knives. I don't know. I don't know what that's supposed to prove, guys. I don't know what that's supposed to prove since we're here. Okay. Did Amber Heard just say that Johnny Depp was jealous of her career? The man is a pirate and owns a whole chocolate factory. Why would he be jealous of you and your red wig? Who thinks Johnny Depp will win this trial, especially with these badass women at his side? Who's the one on the right? You decide. Okay, so then this is where I don't think it's helpful to decide like what people's faces look like during abuse. If you could be slapped and it's abuse, obviously Rihanna was really damaged, but that doesn't mean that you have to live up to her standards to have received abuse. So Amber wanted Johnny to beat his drink addiction, so had her friends and family move in and did drugs with him all the time. Is that what we're being told? Was Amber and her friends constantly keeping Johnny surrounded by drugs knowing he can't resist them so they could just live off his money and be freeloaders? Because it sure sounds like it. The direct of Amber's sister has flown by. It's the fastest direct in this case so far. Cross starts now. Whitney's recollection of their staircase incident is much different than Amber's. Not believing Amber Heard does not mean we don't believe women. It means we don't believe liars. We don't believe abusers. We believe women. We do not believe Amber Heard. I think in society, we just need to get away from like absolutes. We believe all this, believe all that, yes all this, yes all that. We need to understand that money and other there's things that get in the way of someone speaking their truth, which would be having an incentive to lie. Johnny Depp has people on his side that have an incentive to lie because they live off of him, his security guards and this and that. Amber Heard has an incentive to lie because she's trying to win a $100 million defamation case. So it's important to know these things. In most cases, there isn't an incentive to lie. That's why in most cases you believe victims because it doesn't help them out. In most cases, victims aren't profiting off of this. Okay, what do we have here? Elaine double-checking the judge is fully out of the room before swinging around and talking to Whitney. This team is so shady and manic, I swear. So so they've got the judge leaving the room, and then they're not, you're not allowed to talk during a break with your person that you're, have on the witness stand. So here they are. Judge leaves the room, and then she turns around. Look at that. Turns around and says something to Whitney, who she's cross-examining. How interesting is that? Agnes says, yes, Dave, no more black and white thinking. Absolutely. Absolutely to that. Oh, that was Dr. Curry. I'm sorry. People are saying that was Dr. Curry from earlier. I was thinking it was a lawyer or something, so I was kind of confused. Dr. Curry, of course. Everyone loves Dr. Curry. But do we like people, though, because they're also good looking? Like, I feel like we're giving, oh yeah, there she is, Dr. Curry. I feel like we're giving them extra credit because they're good looking, which is so, not, I mean, am I wrong in saying that? If they were just normal looking people, would we be thinking they're as cool? I don't know, maybe, because we think the judge is obviously like a very neutral, I mean, the judge is great. She's just doing a ridiculous job. But honorable judge mirroring all of our feelings today watching these testimonies. Good God, and the fake crying, shut up. Johnny footed the bill since forever while Amber and her friends' family. So yeah, when you're footing the bill, it doesn't make it right though. You can be now a lot of times abusers will do financial manipulation. I don't know if Johnny did that. I think he was footing the bill and not asking for anything in return. Like I think he had so much money he was like, throw it on the bill. I could be wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong. Let's see what else we have here. Let me just I'll tell you what, let me go back here and I'm just going to spend the next minute looking for some more content. I didn't think much
of it at the time, but now that Lou's pointing this out, that doesn't make any sense because the whole story per Amber and Whitney is that Johnny's at the top of the stairs. He has to be at the top of the stairs because he's going to push down Whitney to her death is what the allegation is. Well, how does he at the top of the stairs if he's running behind Whitney? And why is Whitney and Amber up there? What are they must be arguing. So I mean, it makes no sense in the fight that we're being told was happening between Amber and Johnny at the top of the stairs. If that was already happening, why is the story? Again, I'm sorry I'm being so long with this, but the story that we were told is that Amber and Johnny were fighting at the top of the stairs and that it was Whitney who came running up to get into the so-called line of fire. Right. Well, Whitney has testified that Johnny came running from behind. So great catch, Lou. I mean, it's so, it's just completely inconsistent.
That's been everything here. So that's really well done. And in fact, I'm going to try and pull this. Thank you, Lou. I might even clip this for tomorrow's show because, yeah, you're right. Comparing those two stories is pretty crucial. So well caught. And this is when Twitter is the best, when we have all our people actually sharing good intel to really give us the facts. So good on you, Lou. See, live on the show, 64,000 people. Go give Lou a like for that amazing work. Look, this testimony is crucial as all this is in there. We're gonna compare those things, and I feel like Whitney really was there. Now, this is another thing. There was all this talk of, apparently, Christopher, your thoughts on this, because objection, Ms. Hernandez represents action when she was deposed in this court. The counsel cut short her deposition after a mere 3.5 hours and then represented to counsel for Mr. Depp that she was unable to resume the deposition for an extended period of time for medical reasons, while also asserting that Ms. Heard's counsel intended to consume any remaining time at the deposition by posing questions to their own client. The Monday after Friday March discovery cutoff, Ms. Heard's counsel subsequently offered Ms. Hernandez for deposition, but continued to insist that her counsel would consume the questioning time. Ms. Hernandez should be excluded entirely due to Ms. Heard's counsel deliberate and blatant efforts to obstruct her deposition, and the alternative, she should be required to sit for a further 3.5 hours of deposition by Mr. Depp's counsel before being allowed to testify. That's a fair concern. Am I left to assume this got fixed because she was up there, or what are your legal thoughts on this?
Yeah, it must have been. I mean, if there's a failure of discovery, a failure to provide discovery, then the court would exclude the witness or to make the witness available for discovery some other point in time. So there's no way Johnny's team would have not raised that and let that go.
All right, we have a lot more to go through. Amy, do you know who this person is? Did you ever see this person at the building? But first, also, Kristen, my goodness.
No.
Oh, whoops, sorry, I hit the wrong button. I was just going to say, well, I keep hitting. Kristen Grove just dropped $200. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Kristen, for your support. There's so many of you guys supporting, and I wish I could tell you all, but I know you guys want to see the show. I promise I'll get to all your support in a minute, but Kristen Grove, oh my goodness, I just saw that. Thank you. I appreciate all that you lovely people do. This is a donation, not a pledge. Thank you so much. No pledges here. Oh my God, what a woman. Oh, it's a pledge. They're the same to me. They're not the same. They're not the same, but my goodness, thank you so much, Kristen, for supporting what we do. Yeah, it's been a lot of work, and so grateful to everybody here and all you guys watching. Thank you for the support. All right, but Amy, sorry, I'm going to let you have a moment. Do you know, we have Drew. Do you want me to talk to her about her or Drew? What would you rather hear next, Amy?
I'm actually, I don't know her. Like, she has that California kind of, Kardashian-ish accent. It was hard for me to watch her today. But I want to talk about the Drew thing. So, like, watching all of the old depositions that are years and years old, it's interesting because his deposition that we watched was from 2019, right?
Yep.
And so we've now all seen all the people that lived in the penthouses. I love how everyone just keeps saying, well, like, by invitation, like, I was asked to live there and I didn't pay rent, but that wasn't my idea. It's like, you are grown, you have a job.
Yep.
Pay your goddamn rent. Like, come on. Like, I have to work my butt off and I pay my rent. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, the live in. So everyone's just always so like, oh yes, by invitation I live there. But we saw all of the body cam footage from the cops, both sets of cops' visits, so many times. And we heard their depositions. And then so today when I was watching him, I was just like really kind of cringing because he kept saying, I took them in and I gave them a tour and I showed them this dent and I showed them this thing on the wall and I showed them this and that. We didn't see on any body cam footage like the Josh Drew tour guide show. Like, right. I didn't see any of that.
Nope. No,
So
I saw the body cam footage. It didn't show any of the things. Right.
All right, so let's go check this out. We have gonna come play a compilation here of Depp's attorney. Nice little TikTok we have here. Let's watch and see what this is. See if this is any good.
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Objection, leading.
Sustain.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
Your Honor, I'm entitled to go into what Ms. Vasquez asked.
The objection is leading. I'll sustain the objection.
Okay.
Now, in a case like this, it's kind of like Jeopardy. It's not always about how smart you are, but it's how quickly you can access your intelligence. And that's kind of like with stand-up, to bring that. When you've been doing stand-up for getting back into stand-up after the pandemic was kind of slow for me because you just don't have access to real fast the neural pathways to say what you're thinking, your processor speed. And then the more you do it, the more it all comes back. The lawyer here is just nobody on Amber's side is as quick and has as quick processing as she does.
I'll sustain the objection as to hearsay.
Okay.
And I guess the question for Amber Heard is, how did she not get lawyers that are better trial attorneys? I don't know much about this, but some lawyers are better in this setting than others, and it's just not her strong suit.
What, if any, you were asked if you had, it was suggested that you had not produced this in discovery. Is that true?
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
Your Honor, she absolutely did that.
It's leading. It's leading question now. I'll sustain the objection as to leading.
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
Sustain as to leading. Okay.
Objection, Your Honor. This is outside the scope of cross-examination.
It's prior consistent statements.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
It's observations for the 12/17, the same day.
Sustain the objection.
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
I think I can bring
calls for
that out.
speculation.
It's still leading. I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Do you recall? I'm trying.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Sustain.
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
All right, I'll sustain as speculation.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Your Honor said I could redirect after the cross-examination when she.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question. Next question.
Yeah, okay. I don't have any more questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right.
Yikes. Oh, boy. All right, that's interesting to watch, isn't it? All right, let's go back to Popcorn Planet. We're going to wrap this up shortly. I appreciate, all those that liked this video, that subscribed. The more people that, the more traffic we can get on these videos, the more I'll make of them. We're still new to this channel. For anyone who's new to me, I have another channel that covers Bachelor Nation news, 55,000 subscribers. This channel just started to take off, and we're trying to give it its love and all of that. We don't just cover the Johnny Depp trial. We've got a UFO video from yesterday. I've been covering Will Smith, Chris Rock, and so many different issues that surround, entertainment, Britney Spears, things like that. So anyway, I appreciate all the support that's out there, and let's just go back to this Popcorn Planet.
I guess maybe they weren't allowed to get the Whitney texts in, but they exist. But they alluded to it in the cross. But I feel I had a cross clip, but it's hard. The cross was very underwhelming. I felt like they buttered her up and then never really sliced her neck. And they mentioned a couple things of like the fact that she did say some mean things about her sister, and that she did run away from her sister and would say, but I really thought they could have brought in better evidence to really hit it home, to try to put Whitney into a corner who's, I feel like, would have been a lot easier to catch off guard, to really acknowledge the abuse that she's faced by her sister, because there was just a lot of stuff as he's Brian's been sharing some more out there. I had another one. But it was just very frustrating to me. I was really hoping for that, and here it was. This is Johnny texting her, which they alluded to. Thanks, doll. Nothing yet. Trying to call her, says Whitney. Johnny, she just hit me, so she's all right. Like, physically? That doesn't surprise me at all. No, F-head, as in contacted. You funny. I'm a riot. Glad she's okay, though. Now she's ignoring me. Just weird context of things that I feel like they really could have brought this together. Also, with the imagine all the cocaine she's clearly taken, I don't understand how Whitney is relevant at all. Speaking of drugs or I don't know what this woman was on, but here was the other one. This is Elizabeth Mars.
I was scared of him. So that's all I can say. From the moment that the one interaction I had with him that night, it was frightening to me. His behavior was frightening to me.
We're going to come back to that.
Wear makeup?
I mean, I don't think of her as someone who wears a lot of makeup. No.
Yeah, you
Hold on, wait, it comes back. I don't know why.
You understand that penthouse was owned by Mr. Depp?
Did I pull the wrong clip?
At the time?
I sadly got the wrong clip there. What was amazing about this makeup clip is that she basically admits and gets like they palled around, and Camille gets her to be like, yeah, so she doesn't wear much makeup, right? She's like, no, she's a natural, right? Yeah, she doesn't need any makeup. So she didn't wear any makeup, Yeah, totally. And she's basically got her to acknowledge, this close friend Amber's, that no, she never wears makeup. That was, to me, the bigger thing. But here was sort of a summary of Elizabeth.
That whole...
Hey, Erica, thank you so much for the super chat. I very much appreciate that. Thank you.
And getting ready for a bead show that she was going to be doing the following day. Like, I was scared of him. I don't think of her as someone who wears a lot of makeup. No. That whole, his whole being really frightened me.
I was so scared,
seemed to be
guys.
intoxicated.
Okay. Is that different than drunk?
No, I mean, yeah.
Terrifying.
It wasn't an invite. It was very
terrifying.
Yeah, it was intense.
It's so intense.
To Penthouse 5, and you hear him say something to the effect of, "Get your bitch out of here." Correct?
Mm-hmm. Disheveled, and her hair was a mess, and she had a swollen face. That's why I ran out. If there's a grown-ass man coming at you and saying, "Get your bitch out of here," and swaying a Magnum-sized bottle of wine, I'm sure.
Caught.
I don't know what anyone do. I can't say what anyone do, but I ran out.
And will you just remind us what side of Miss...
She couldn't not laugh. Even Amber's
If there's a
laughing at
grown-ass
this
man
nonsense.
coming at you and saying, "Get your bitch out of here," and swaying a Magnum-sized bottle of wine, I'm sure.
So funny that
I don't know
Johnny's
what anyone do.
screaming at a
I can't say what
bottle of
anyone
wine.
do, but I
This
ran
is the
out.
look at we caught the monster. That sounds really funny. Johnny coming at you screaming with a bottle of wine. That is really silly. Even Amber, Kim, did you see that clip? Even Amber is caught not falling for her own fucking shit. It's crazy.
It's so funny to me. See, she was actually the one I missed today. She was the only one I missed today. I had to pop out.
Magnum-sized
And it
bottle
truly
of-
is. It's like that, like Amy said, it's that Kardashian type accent that every statement ends with a question, even if it's not a question.
Yeah, but I
It's
mean,
so weird.
her laughter's crazy. But can you believe Amber's laughing at it now too? Look at this.
It's great. It's great. It's. But the whole thing is laughable, though. The whole thing, it's just ridiculous. She's too happy talking about this. It's hilarious.
Amy, you've had the pleasure of meeting Miss Amber Turd. Like, as the woman who's now on the stand, right, to like for victims and all the serious stuff that she's doing. Is this a good look to be giggling at the thought of the monster chasing her friend here with a bottle?
The most I've ever seen her smile ever was in this trial. Like anytime I've interacted, no, I'm 100%. I know people are going to say I'm a bitch for saying this, whatever, but I told you that, we talked like a couple times I would see her in the building or upstairs, or I was in Hollywood once and I ran into her. She was just so like, don't look at me, I'm so beautiful. And, so like snobbish and everything. Now I'm finally seeing her laugh for the first time, and it's in this trial, which is really sick.
And laughing at the example of her husband causing this woman so much frightening.
It's sickening.
Look at it, so terrible. I'm so scared. I'm so scared, guys. Help me! Oh my God, these women are nuts.
I think Roxette asked me about how to join the private page, and that's right over here. It's called patreon.com/Dave Neal, and there's my page. I don't know what else to tell you about it, but I post pretty much every day over there, and you can go see my stand-up comedy and other things like that. Let's just wrap this up shortly.
Oh, no, I feel you, though.
You're like, I get it. So yeah, look, Elizabeth Mars didn't really offer much except for that, which was, and I didn't edit that, guys. You can go watch it on Long
some
Crime.
things that were broken, but I don't.
We just made it live, but yeah, this was that moment she's laughing to, where she caught herself and couldn't even stop laughing. I couldn't believe that.
Oh, hey, Jen, how are you?
So there we go. I don't know what she was there just to say that Johnny was really scary, guys, but again, another witness who saw nothing. He walked out and screamed with a bottle at one point. I want to go to the makeup artist because that was probably, and I don't want to gloss over it. And in fact, Paige is here as well to help come in. So Melanie is the makeup artist. She's a real serious makeup artist. Clearly does makeup to all the stars. And I don't know the relationship to her, but I do know that there are photos. I just saw it. Hold on. Where was it? Sometimes people do too many tweets. I can't find it as quick. They were close friends. This wasn't just like a makeup artist. Here she is. I think that's her. Close friends for a while. So just to have that backstory, because it seems like anybody who gets close to Amber becomes part of the cult of Amber and defends them. However, even this makeup artist revealed, we're no longer friends. I cut her out of my life and didn't want her in my life. Funny, Amy, how that works, right?
It's weird. Like every single person, you think like at the toughest time in someone's life, your friends are there for you. Like she's going through this huge, openly public, lawsuit case, but nobody's there to support her, except for Whitney at this point and Dr. Huge Lies. But besides that, like everyone's like, oh, I'm not friends with her anymore. What's up with that? That's so confusing. And this makeup artist, by the way, her work is incredible. Just saying, like, she's so talented, and
she's legit.
I feel bad that she got wrapped into this, but she's really an amazing makeup artist. Just saying.
No disrespect to our makeup expert. There you are, Paige. You're now on the show. Sorry, hello, I didn't warn you, but hi.
Hi, Paige.
But Paige has been our makeup expert, as she's been called in. And Paige, I wanted you to be here. Thank you for jumping in last minute notice. But here we had this makeup artist come on to basically say, yeah, she had the bruises, and yeah, I covered them up.
It was the James Corden show. She had an appearance, so I came back to work.
And when you arrived at the Penthouse on December 16, please describe for me what you observed about Amber Heard's face and any injuries.
When I came to the Penthouse on December 16 to do Amber's makeup, she had injuries. She had too light, like, I don't know how, I don't know, I mean, I'm not a medical expert, I don't know how I would describe them, but it could have looked like somebody had headbutted her lightly, so she had a discoloration here, under both eyes, and on the bridge of the nose. And she had what I would call a split lip or something on the lip, like a gash or a split lip.
Ms. Iglesias, I'm going to ask you to look at what has been marked as exhibit number 11. Do you recognize this photo as being Amber Heard's head?
Yes.
Okay. And could you please describe for me what this photo is showing?
It's showing a chunk of missing hair.
And
oh boy.
What, if anything, did you observe on December 16 about Amber Heard missing a chunk of hair?
I remember this because she showed it to us, and I looked at it.
Okay. And can you describe
this is the hair.
What is depicted right along her scalp there?
I don't know.
Do you recall that there was some bruising along the scalp and some pus, for lack of a better word?
I don't recall.
Ms. Iglesias, I'm going to ask you to take a look at what has been marked as exhibit number 14. Do you recognize the person in this photo?
Yes.
And who is that?
This is Amber Heard.
Okay. And
so she recognizes a lot of photos here. She does acknowledge that
yes,
the photos are, she's like, well, a lot of these photos are badly lit.
16, 2000.
But yes.
Now,
with very different light.
Number 16, 2015.
I mean, that's three pictures with very different light, but yes.
Yes,
now,
good,
do you
good
also
catch.
recall there being an
catch.
injury
Very odd
to
how
Amber,
much different the photos all are.
Amber Heard's lip?
Correct.
And Ms. Iglesias, I'm going to ask you to take a look at.
Wait, I want to get to how she
no
covered
other
it.
option that night, but then to use a red blood, like and so blue.
All right, so here,
which
Paige.
I would normally
I assume that she's an expert, but
the,
here's how she covered it.
you know, I just did makeup, but just a little heavier way it knitted. So we covered, you know, the discoloration, the bruises with a little slightly heavier concealer, one that has a little more of a peach undertone, which I would normally don't use on Amber, but peach do cancel blue. So I did that under the eyes, and although Amber always, you know, has a red lip, is one of her signature look, I remember clearly talking that we had no other option that night but then to use a red blood, like a really red lipstick to, you know, make sure we could cover up the injuries on the lip.
And were you able to cover all of the injuries with the makeup that you applied and as you just described?
Yes.
Ms. Iglesias, if you could look at what has been marked as exhibit number 22, do you recognize Amber Heard in that picture?
Yes.
Okay. And is this the picture of her? Is this a picture of her that evening, December 16, 2000? If anything, did you have been on the show?
That she had the ability to, turn it on. That she, the ability to do her job and perform how she was supposed to perform on the show.
Now she goes and says it again. We have another clip where she basically explains it again to Camille.
Swollen, but
I just want to play one more time. She gets more specific
and
here.
I believe the right eye had a little more of a gash right there. It wasn't that strong. It wasn't that swollen, but it was definitely some blue and yellow discoloration there, mainly on the inner corner.
All right, I am no longer useful here. I'm just been busy trying to respond to a few things. I got to set up for tomorrow's content. So if you want to go watch that, you can just go click over to, I believe it's called Popcorn Planet. You can go check out the rest of that conversation. That's going to be it for me. Thank you guys for all being a part of, the live stream as we're getting it going over here. I'm a one-man shop. I'm learning how to use a lot of these new tools, and you probably couldn't tell, but today I changed a lot of my display around as I'm trying to sort of revamp some things here and figure it all out. We'll be back tomorrow with some live streaming. We might live stream the whole afternoon. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what we decide to do, but we might just live stream the whole afternoon. As you guys know, we don't. These live streams are all getting demonetized, so I appreciate those that have donated and those that have joined the Patreon. It's really, I really appreciate it. For whatever reason, sometimes things get demonetized due to content that's said in a live stream, but as we know, these live streams are getting demonetized literally as the second that they go live. So if you aren't familiar with how that works out, this is the video that we're making right now. And it says this video is being reviewed to determine whether it's suitable for most advertisers. But as we know, this video itself has already had 12,000 views, none of which are monetized, which is fine, but that's almost like a day's worth of pay right there. So for those that have donated, it is appreciated, and it's kind of going to have to be the way that we can keep doing these types of videos, because I feel like YouTube has just decided that it's going to demonetize every video until it's manually reviewed. The problem being, once it's manually reviewed, you've already lost all your views and there's no retroactive pay. No big deal. That's just the way it is. All right, folks, that's going to be it from me. Everyone have a good time. Thank you so much for the support, and we'll see you guys all later. Bye, everybody. Good night. Thank you guys so much. Bye.